What is up, guys? I am Neil Barrett. I am not who you guys are expecting to see. Kyle is going to be joining us. He is at ESPN for the game. I just realized this is still on. And your DJ and the other hosts are still getting back from work. So he asked me and apparently Jackson, which I didn't even know Jackson was going to be here, but Jackson to jump in. What is up, Jackson? How you doing? This is the first time we've talked since we did the championship series. Jackson, you're muted, bud.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm really excited about tonight. I think there's going to be a big trade somewhere along the lines. I don't know where it's going to be, but I think it's going to be really great, and I think it's just going to prop us up for the best PLL season yet. So I'm really excited.
I just saw Dan tweet that it looks like the Redwoods are going to be holding on to 2 and 3. So I agree that I think there probably is a trade coming, but it's not going to be as fun as I had proposed it would be.
That would have been league shaking. If anybody doesn't know, Neil is talking about his out of left field theory that the Carolina Chaos should trade Blaze Reardon to jumpstart their rebuild. I just don't think that's going to happen, especially in conference, which is where it kind of makes sense. I think if Philly didn't have the number 1 overall pick, it may have been in play, but I don't think anybody else really needed it.
Well, and my problem with the idea of Philly was, oh, hold on, we got the pick in. It's CJ Kirst, right?
Yeah, the pick's been in for a minute. They're just talking about him.
No, I got Paul up.
Oh,
I must be a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, just a touch.
Intro.
Little speech.
I won't ruin it for you, even though we know it's ruined.
There it is.
There it is. I can hear it.
How big or how much do you think he's bragging to his brothers this year at Thanksgiving for being?
Oh, I wouldn't. You would never hear the end of it from me.
No, definitely not.
Is he the youngest, or is there one after him?
There's one more after him.
Okay, there's one
goalie, and I don't know if he's a freshman or if he's a senior in high school.
Oh, if he's a goalie, yeah. I was gonna say if I was the youngest and I was the highest pick, yeah, you'd never hear the end of it. No. But I can't imagine that his goalie brother is going to go any higher than. I mean, not that you can go higher than 1, but you know he's not going to also go 1. So what is up? There's Kyle.
What's up, gang? How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm fantastic. CJ Kirst is a Philadelphia athlete, which feels great. Dan and I are here in the media war room right now, and Dan just put out seconds ago that the Chaos and Archers are working on a first-round pick swap deal right now.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's...
Is that Matt Trainer?
So, definitely something to keep your eyes on.
Wow. I did not see that come. We talked about some trade ideas. Obviously, mine was more outlandish. I did not have that. Yeah, did not have that.
Oh, it better be Trainer.
Yeah, that's news.
but I mean, at 4, there's a lot of guys probably going to be in play.
We need a righty.
100%.
Need a righty.
Well, yeah, but my thought is, I mean, could you look at assuming that he doesn't go to the Redwoods, could you look at, Sam English? Could you look at, there's that group of like Mackesy, McAdory, English, that next kind of group of 3 or 4 that wouldn't have been available to the Archers at 8. But at 4, several of those guys are in play.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I would agree. You know, I'd love to see Matt Trainer on that Archers offense, but at 4, I don't know that. You know, does he make more sense than Sam English?
That's true. I don't know. The Penn Staters have worked out real well for the Archers, so I like
That's fair.
staying with that.
Chris Bates did mention, like, you know, Grant Ament will be the first to tell you about the Penn State guys. So
I did pick up on that. I was wondering in what universe we moved up enough to maybe take him, but this sounds like that may be the move.
yeah, this one's kind of out of left field to a degree, but Spencer Ford is ready to wheel and deal. Welcome to GM era PLL.
Yeah, I wonder what the tax is on that. You know, is that a Dyson Williams, or is that next year's first or next year's second? You know,
I don't feel like if I'm the Chaos GM, I don't want to give away any future pick. I'd rather give up, like you said, a Dyson Williams or a player or something, rather than starting to leverage out future picks. Unless you just really are banking on, you know, making a move again next year or something. But
and then I hope he finds a partner for 16 and 18 to move up to the 10 to 12 range. Yeah.
That would make the most sense if that happens.
Maybe 16 and 18 for the first and second that they have this year.
Yeah.
Probably not enough.
I will check back in a few, gents, but CJ Curse, number 1, locked in.
Congratulations.
And now the draft begins.
yeah, now the draft begins.
Neil, I don't know if you followed some of the betting talk that was going on today, but I had a ticket in for McAdory at number 2 that I got at plus 350.
That's crazy.
So I'm this is the real interesting pick for me. Obviously we knew 1 was pretty set, and I talked myself out of putting more on it. But I'm sitting there thinking, you know, Vegas isn't built on winners. What do they know that I don't know? And this time I actually had one up on the sports book, hopefully. So,
yeah, sorry, I'm trying to move some stuff around because I can't hear this, so I'm just trying to get it pulled up over here too. In fact, I'm going to close this out. But yeah, it's funny because when I saw you post that. And I thought it was so funny because for no reason whatsoever, I have just felt like Andrew McAdory was going to be the 3rd pick. That they would jump for whoever at 2 and then take McAdory with 3. I don't know why. I have no reason. He's the one that's been like the definitive. He's gonna be the Redwood. It's the other pick that they're bouncing around. So it makes more sense that they would take him at 2 and take whoever at 3. But for some reason, I'm like, no, McAdory's gonna go 3. So when I saw you post that, I was like, oh God, I hope he doesn't go 3 and just like completely screw up your bet.
Well, and I just have this. It's Galaxy brain on both ends, where it's like, you know, on the one hand, you know, because the first 4 picks do make more money. I'm way behind you if the pick's going, but I like the look on your face.
You'll be happy.
Let's see. Let's go.
I told you there was no reason for me to think that, but like that's just what I had. That he would go 3.
Galaxy brain on both sides. Where okay, so does Spallina want to give him the extra? I don't know what $1,500 that the second pick gets over the 3rd pick, but then on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, you don't want this guy coming in saying, you know, the other guy. Where it's, you know, oh, he only picked you 2nd because he knows you, and so I didn't know about it. So I'm glad to see that one go through the hoop. That's a good first PLL bet of the year.
Yeah. So for me, now the draft really starts because I think we knew, even though we didn't know second or third, we knew McAdory was going to end up with the Redwoods, and so now it's just wide open, and I've seen. So who do you think they're gonna look at for number 3 here?
I think it's English. On my second farther away is Kavanaugh. I think it's English. I think they want somebody that can do a little bit more. They are saying that that Chris is the Kavanaugh that could play midfield the best out of the 3 brothers. Or I guess
They went right into it.
Oh yeah. There it is.
Yep. I gotta say, I had really thought they wanted Kavanaugh. I don't know why. I just thought it, but me personally, I think this is the better option. It fills another hole that they have that midfield needs. This, I mean, we've talked about it for several weeks now. The player comp here with Sam English is Zach Courier,
which is, Dan was talking about it on his podcast. He's not Zach Courier. He will have, similarities, but there's only one Zach Courier.
Right. For me, when I say that though, my thinking is more about like the things that he can do on the field, the way that he can play. He not just he can play, because there's lots of guys in the PLL that can play. He does play.
Yes.
Basically everywhere. And so to me, that's what I mean. I don't want that to be some like expectation of burden of expectation put on him that he's going to be that guy for that long, at that level and everything. Just in terms of like that unicorn kind of player that literally does everything is kind of what I mean. I do understand the idea of that being a bit of a dangerous precedence to set, but
yes. All right. Well, who do you think this pick is? Because this has been one that's talked about a lot too. Is it Hiltz or Maxey?
If it's me, it's Mackesy. I think trying to somewhat read between the lines. Did you watch Brian Holman on the TLN pre-show? Mm-hmm. Something about the way that he talked about Mackesy made me feel like that's the way they're leaning. I don't have. Hand,
I did hear. I'm just here for the Galaxy Brain takes tonight. I was talking to the battery guys, and they're saying that this is their take, that the old coordinator left because of a disagreement about Mackesy. Because Brian Holman did not like Maxey, was not going to take Maxey, was going to take Owen Hiltz.
That's interesting. We got Dre. What's up, Dre?
Not much. I'm at the Outlaws draft watch party.
Let's go.
Redwoods to the playoffs. Redwoods to the playoffs. They just drafted Mackesy and Sam English.
Hold on, we got the pick for Boston. It's Mackesy.
Well, I consider that their replacement for Kavanaugh.
Yeah. Brian Holman did say he was going to have to beat out Will Manny in camp.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Beating out the guy that didn't even make a field appearance.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not thinking Will Manny's long for the Cannons colors this year. I can't even believe that he re-signed with them.
I feel like if a team gives them an attractive enough offer, they'll trade him.
Oh, I don't think they'll even trade him. They'll do what they did last year, and he just won't ever dress ever.
All right, so now we see if the trade happens.
Man,
yeah.
I feel like if I'm one of those top tier lacrosse players and I know I can go, I'd be pissed if I'm just sitting on the bench and not even dressed or playing. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what are we doing?
Oh, excuse me. All right, let's get this trade in. I want to see some movement. This will be fun.
Oh,
I
who's
wanna
getting
see
traded?
How bad it hurts.
The rumor is that the Chaos and the Archers are looking to swap.
We'll see. We'll see if they do that. I know Jackson
That
wants
wa-
an Archer's trade.
That was from Dan Arestia, so it's not like it
Oh,
was
I
just like
trusted it. If
random.
Dan said it,
Yeah,
I trust it.
it's not just like random dudes on the internet saying it. Hey,
What's up, Aiden?
Hey guys,
How are you?
good. Exactly as I predicted to Jackson shortly before, which was that they would take Owen Hiltz. So
Just a little off there.
Yeah, a
Same
little
same
bit.
hand.
yeah,
Little bit of
the other lefty attackman. No, I mean I'm thrilled with this. This is exactly what the Cannons needed. Obviously, still TBD on the battle in training camp is going to be tight between him and Manny.
Hey.
We'll see. But
I just hate that Matt couldn't wait for like one damn season
Oh,
before
they
he
showed it on the
retired.
screen.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I don't know if you guys are seeing it live, but the Archers and Cannons just Chaos just traded.
It's Trainer. It's got to
Oh,
be
and
Trainer.
Utah.
Oh, I did not.
Utah's making a pick right now.
What's the
All
trade? What they do they just trade spots, or they traded like players and stuff?
Shoot.
We don't know yet.
Hopping on a live show.
They never put the details of the trades up there.
I think they'll say when Utah comes up to make their pick, they'll say this was traded. It says Utah's pick is in, but they're obviously interviewing Brian Holman still. So
Fair enough.
All right. I think we're going to go tune back in and see what the deals with that are. But, yeah, love they picked Coulter Max. He will be back after round 2.
Awesome.
sounds good. See you guys in.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry, I had to get my headphones. Wanted to make sure I could actually hear y'all.
So
Crazy that they. Speaking of Princeton, bruh, I think they're gonna play pissed off in this tournament, which they have every right to, because there was no reason for that 2-minute non-releasable penalty to be called in that
Here we
game
go.
against Cornell.
nope, still talking about Boston. So Jackson, you think this is for
Trainer.
Trainer?
That's why I said Dyson Williams probably on the move, because that's the spot he would take.
That's fair.
That eighth offensive spot.
So you got Dyson going to Carolina as part of this
Potentially
move.
like a 3rd round pick. I don't know. They said they wanted to move up. Maybe it's 8, 16, and I don't know, but maybe it's just 8 and 16. I'm not sure. Here we go. Oh,
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the Outlaws to trade Wiz. I think Wiz gets moved.
I don't think so. Not the way Pseudo talks about that dude.
Yeah, no, he's
I don't know,
playing.
man. I genuinely think we're drafting Jake Taylor. That's the only one that made sense to me.
Brennan's about to come out of the box this year.
I still think like I said, I still think we're drafting Taylor. I know Neil likes Jake playing around the crease, but I think we're drafting Jake. I don't know what it is.
I genuinely can't believe you just said that.
I said it, and I stand by it.
Not you. We talking about Jackson. He said Brennan O'Neill was going to come out the box this year.
It worked well for him on the Olympic team.
Yeah, on the Olympic team when he was a college senior, and it was Rob Pennell and Mikey Sowers in the attack.
To be fair, he played He played
Oh,
box.
they're going to
for the
commercial.
Philly Wings. Oh no!
We're just not gonna know.
No, like
Kyle.
ESPN's been dropping.
Yeah,
it.
what are the deets?
What up,
What are the
Um,
details?
Working to confirm, but shout out to Dan. He had the news first. And we'll see. You know, Spencer Ford was very adamant on adding prominent pieces to this lineup today when he was talking to us in the chaos portion of the press conferences. And it looks like he's, trying to also accumulate picks here. So
I love that he's not going to tell us.
I don't have any details yet.
He's just keeping it under lock, keeping us in the dark.
I just they put up the thing and like, okay, we see the pick swap, like what's the, and then they went back to the table. It was like, okay, now they're gonna tell. No, now we're in commercial. It's like, oh great.
Yeah, I'm watching on the ESPN Plus, just like you guys. We're just in our own room.
Yeah.
So I'm as in the dark on that front as you guys.
What do you think about picks 1 through 4?
I am kind of shocked that they didn't go Chris at 5, which now also brings into play what Pseudo brought up earlier a little bit. We'll see how far Chris falls.
There's no way he falls to the second round, though.
But Pseudo did mention to us today that, depending on where he falls, and if it makes sense to potentially use one of those 4th-round picks that they have multiple of to move up. And he said that Chris Cav was the only offensive player that they would trade up for.
Hey man, listen. Wait. Let me see. Who are all the attackmen that the Outlaws have again?
Oh, it's way too many to list, but there's like 12 of them.
Law, Cav, O'Neal, Cross, Wiz, Mano, and there's some other guy I'm missing.
Dylan Gerger.
Yeah.
And technically, wasn't Dalton Young an attackman? I know he's playing midfield for them, but like most of their midfielders were also attackmen that now play midfield.
I feel like you can make a attractive package by moving Vano, Dalton Young, Derger, and maybe Cross if necessary. You can make an attractive 3 to 4 player package deal with that to move up. Especially like if you're offering it to, I don't know, someone like the Chaos, who most of their players have just dropped like butterflies by deciding to play Six Nations.
I was getting ready to say they didn't exactly drop like butterflies. It's not like they're injured.
No.
They flew like butterflies.
They dipped like butterflies or salsa dancers. There you go. They dipped like salsa dancers.
They got that money. That's what they got.
Hey, Neil, are you still going to the Final Four?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I might be out there.
Kyle, you going?
I don't believe I am, but that is subject to change.
I know you've had trouble getting press passes from NCAA, right?
Yeah, so we're just figuring out some stuff. There's some other logistics with other happenings that could be going on that week. So
if you're going, would you be doing press or would you be going just to go?
No, I got regular old tickets.
Yeah,
I did.
If I go, I'm going just for the vibe.
Dre, you know what you can do? I haven't checked, but I got my tickets through VetTix. I got. Well, I think they were like $13, but I got like discounted tickets through VetTix.
I mean, I'm gonna have to buy a flight, but I'll still go.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
It's just
all right.
8 and 16.
8 and 16.
Yeah, for 5 and 21.
Wait. So they literally just pick swapped for nothing?
Yeah, let's go. That's huge.
This is the most chaos thing to do.
What?
This is the most chaos thing that is ever chaos.
What? You literally just swapped for no reason.
This is literally the most chaos thing. Like, what are we doing? What is? But they said the pick was in. What's the pick?
Let's go.
Jackson, I'm sorry you didn't get trainer.
Are we taking Lavelle here for
Wow.
real?
Oh. Huh.
I don't.
But that's not
I don't-
bad.
I don't know what to do with the last
gosh.
30 seconds.
But that's,
No.
but that's not bad, though.
I love that pick for the Archers.
That was a great pick.
I think he
Here-
was going to be there at 8, though. Not that we lost anything.
I mean, but like, it's one of those
I
ones
don't
where,
know
like,
about that.
So, you know, we always say, you know, jokingly amongst our group, Bates is going to Bates. So,
No, I trust the process.
in this
I like
instance,
that pick.
Yeah.
Here's my question about that pick. What's he doing this year?
say, what's
He's
he playing?
playing close in what he's playing LSM,
Yeah,
which I love.
The Archers have one LSM on their roster right now. It's
technically
John
too.
Robbins.
What
Wait,
happened
don't
to
they? Wait, is Haas not on the roster? Haas
Myers
can
is
play
still
both,
there, isn't he?
right? I mean, Haas does close, but he
Oh
can
yeah,
do
and
both.
Cam.
Yeah.
He can do both, and you have Wares.
Yeah, I feel like their defense was fine.
Who we got the Atlas picking?
That's a pick for the now and the future.
Oh, they ripped
no,
off
it's a good
our.
pick.
They ripped.
I
off
get it's a
our
pick for the
draft
future. I just feel like it's
ripped
really
off our
high to
draft
pick a
party.
guy that you're not going to use. I mean, I know you're
I-
going to use him, but
I
like,
also I
use him.
brought this up on OTB most recent episode. I feel like Staggs was also really looking at Lavelle. So this might have been Bates' way to jump in front of him if that was a potential pick at 7 for the Whip Snakes.
well, and the fact that they gave up nothing. I mean, it was just pick
Right,
swaps.
just a pick swap.
Makes it fine. You know, if they had to start giving away something to go up to get a guy that isn't going to be a high need this year, obviously Haas looks like he's got one foot out the door. There's some things coming where that becomes more important. But my question is, like, could you have gotten a guy next year, or you know, like, who can help you win this year?
Well, but he's first team All Ivy League the last 3 years back to back. I can see how on paper he looks like a player that's going to really help you. But, you know, the Archers already have a pretty stout defense. I think he fills whatever holes Bates is feeling that there is one for. Like, is Lavelle strictly LSM, or does he play close?
I think he plays close. Right?
Bates said that was their guy from the jump.
There we go.
Hey, man, trust the process. Trust the process. He out there.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that pick.
It's not a bad pick at all.
I'm going to say I don't like it, but with the caveat that not having given up anything just to make the pick
Yeah.
swap,
Yeah. No, I love
that's the
trade.
caveat.
This is going to be the interesting.
Oh,
pick,
who
is
yeah,
what
who we got
New
here?
York does.
Well, I mean, like, where do the Atlas go?
Well,
They
I
don't
think
really need.
in some
Like, what do
mocks
you
they had
need?
Lavelle to the Atlas. So
Well, like, what do you need for the Atlas? Oh, here we go.
They got Matt Trainer. Sorry, I'll stop spoiling that for you guys. I know you're a few
I was like,
seconds
you're
behind.
ahead of me.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching on TV. I'm watching directly in the app, and
I'm watching
you know Kyle's
on,
there, so
I'm watching.
he's
on
probably
TV.
ahead of all of us.
Matt Trainer to that offense.
That's
gross.
This is borderline
That's
unfair.
gross.
Wild.
This is borderline unfair.
that
You've
is
got Jeff Teat, Matt Trainer. You've got Trevor Baptiste off the face-off. You got Schellenberger. Like, this is borderline an unfair offense. Like, legitimately, as an opposing team, how do you scheme for this? Like as an opposing defense, how do you scheme for that?
It's so sick that Tyler Carpenter, Trevor, and Miles are at the draft
Yes,
party.
that's nuts.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten Brennan for ours.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't do that for like everybody, like that's such a good idea. It'll get more people at those draft parties. It'll give you something like cameras that are there to do. Like, it would be great.
But they just had a Chaos and a Whips jersey in there.
Hey, bro, if they had put out, if they had put out that there was gonna be Brennan O'Neill or Eric Law at ours, this place would be packed right now. The way that them kids love Brennan and Eric Law is crazy.
Oh, so who do we think Maryland's looking at now?
I don't think of the next midfielder behind the trainer.
Honestly,
Chris Kavanaugh.
I was gonna say, do they take a stab at Chris?
Do they need him?
Well, because
I don't necessarily
Rambo.
think that the
You got Rambo, you got Malone, you got Portis.
They got no and no Tucker to start.
I mean, Chaney just retired.
Yeah, but are you going to run Chris out the box?
Dordovic's out for a little bit.
Yes. They're already worried about who's going to run out of the box other than Rambo and Rambo's not running out of the box.
I mean, I think you get a true middies in Cav, bro.
Who they hold on.
Okay, here we go. Their needs are LSM to trigger offense, goalie competition, and SSDM of the future, and then offensive midfield depth.
They got their goalie.
Not goalie. Not goalie. Aiden Carroll's the midfielder.
Oh. That's funny.
He's like Jake Carraway.
He's killer at midfield for Georgetown.
He's a stud.
He's a beast. What did Lil Wayne say? He's a beast. He's a dog. He's a threat. Yeah, that's him.
That's it.
Kyle, what's it like being there?
This place is like its own universe. It's wild. I like that for them.
So is this Cav, who they were going to get at 5? Or did the Outlaws make a move?
But how do we feel? Well, Kyle, you're a Water Dogs fan. How are you? How excited are you with Kirk?
I'm thrilled.
I'm lukewarm.
Business is booming, as the kids say.
That's right.
He said, "Oh, I'm thrilled." I was expecting him to like pop out of his seat and be like, "Yeah."
What's he? No, I just think it was funny. Like what the NCAA leading goal scorer of all time. He's like, nah. I mean, that's all right. He's fine.
No big deal.
No big deal.
This is a fascinating stat that Zach Carey, the Archers beat writer, just put out. By their statistical charts, the Archers won the trade with the Chaos historically by trading picks 8 and 16 for picks 5 and 21. They increased their odds of getting multiple All-Stars by 10.9%.
Love it.
That I mean, just by like bumping up, like, yeah, like that's why I don't understand that trade from the Chaos perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just traded back for free, basically.
Yeah. If they would have gotten somebody like a Dyson Williams, they probably would have won the trade. Right now on paper. But,
on paper, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now the Chaos have picks 13 and 16 in the second round.
I feel like if you're the Chaos, your offense was the worst thing about you last year outside of whenever you had Burn. So you got to go offensively. Even with Josh Byrne, that offense was yucky.
Yeah, so what do
And
So what are you doing? You doing Kavanaugh and then trying to get, like a Hiltz or a.
I don't see. I mean, it might be just my my wanting him to fall to the Outlaws saying this, but like, I don't see how Chris Kavanaugh fits in that offensive play style. Granted,
What offensive play style? They don't even have one.
well, I was about to say that, but also I was about to say that, with Andy being gone, we have no idea what the new chaos offense, like what the ideal look for it is.
Kyle, you put out some stuff, I think it was you, about what Spencer Ford was saying his offense was. He has like a very specific, like he looks for styles of play.
Oh, with Colsey?
Oh, was it Colsey? Yes, Colsey. Yes, because Colsey's the coach. Yes, I'm dumb. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are trying to get as many potential blue chip guys that they view are blue chip in this draft to put in this offense. Obviously, losing Josh Byrne is a loss that you really can't replace. So, trying to not only fill that void but also build a new identity is going to be huge for them. But I mean, continuity-wise, you brought back Jules. You brought in Charlotte Beatties, who I really like that move for them as well.
So then, do you draft Cav and build around that?
All right, Carolina's in.
Neil, don't you say anything.
I like the pick.
Wow.
Hold on. And Owen Hill.
Wow.
Look at
It's
that.
fun.
I don't hate it.
A lot of cute guys going off the board.
I don't hate it. I still feel like maybe Cav was the pick, but
Now all eyes are on the Outlaws.
Yeah. Because the Water Dogs aren't going to take him.
No.
Who are y'all going to take? A goalie?
I don't think so.
No.
A D mid? Is it Ben Ramsey?
Maybe.
Do they need close D?
No, we have a legion of close defensemen. We have like 7 deep.
Well, and is Ward coming back for one more year?
I wouldn't be surprised if they
or is he done?
draft a midfielder. If
An
they like a
offensive
midfielder.
yeah, I could see that. I'm not. We're
Like they
down.
have guys that will play, but they don't have a lot of depth at midfield.
Yeah.
Plus, Mikey Schlosser hasn't really seen the field all that consistently.
Yeah.
So it would not
I don't know.
shock me.
Combi on that roster.
That's another big question mark that he hasn't really cracked a roster as well. So yeah, the more I think about it, if you can get a dynamic offensive midi to kind of pair with Jack Hanna in that midfield. Also, now that CJ's here, what does that do with Ethan Walker and where do you put him?
Right.
So, guys available right now. Obviously, Chris Kavanaugh, Sam King, Jake Taylor.
I mean, Ben Weyer's interesting. I know there was the reports about him being, a volatile prospect or whatever the term that Adam used.
What would you feel about if they took Jake Taylor or Sam King?
Sam King would be interesting. That would feel like, a blue chip guy fell into their lap. I also would not mind Levi Virch on this team. Mick Kelly, the Denver connection is also something to pay attention to.
Yeah. Be a
But
little bit of a reach.
Is he worth pick 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Colsey's very big on the two-man game with the Chaos. So
I think their
it's
philosophy
something to pay
is
attention
about,
to.
like, splitting the field down the middle and having like an initiator, a dodger, and a shooter.
Are they going to commercial or are they going to do it?
No, we're going to commercial for sure.
Oh, I hate it. Okay, so you know, Kyle being a Water Dogs fan, Philly sports fan in general, what do you feel about how the draft has gone? I mean, I know you guys have only done one pick, but like how much more confident do you feel going into next season after that first pick?
I mean, I view the Water Dogs last year was just such an anomaly of a year. Like, that was like every possible thing could have gone wrong. They lost 6 one-goal games or one-score games. Like, that just doesn't happen every year. That's just like the worst end of the spectrum. You still have Kieran McArdle. You still have Michael Sowers. You still have Jack Hanna. You still have a prolific defense. Dylan Ward is still your goalie. Things I think will level out this year. Now you're adding CJ Kirst to that team. Like, they're going to still be extremely dynamic. There he is.
Oh, what up? What up, Brandon? Can't hear you. There we go. Jackson, you being an Archers fan, how do you feel?
Man, I feel great. I'm interested to see what the thought process, like Neil was talking about, is he just going to kind of be our extra pole this year? Is he going to slot in at close and let Woody bump up and play some LSM? I love the pick for the future. I mean, I think realistically this is probably Haas's last season. So there's going to be a need there. I don't think Jeffrey's too far behind him. I think he's 4 years younger than Haas. So, and then obviously Canadian Box is always calling. So, yeah, I love the pick for now and for the future. Hopefully he blends in well with the close guys and lets Woody bump up, because I think that would be just disgusting.
Let's see. Neil, we don't really know what your team is because you live near Carolina, but you like. What does that say? I don't know what that says.
It's the PLL logo.
He's the Rob Lowe.
Well, Neil.
That's right. He's the Rob
Neil,
Lowe.
How are you feeling about, like, I guess, like some of the draft picks so far?
I mean, everything has been. I don't want to say as expected, because it obviously has taken some turns, but it's also not exactly surprising either, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't. But I don't know. The one big one was the one that's kind of. I don't know. I don't even want to say it's an iffy pick, because it's a good pick, but like just how we got there was the Archers one that just felt like, wait, what just happened? Exactly. But we've talked about that one a bit.
Brandon,
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen a true pick swap like that.
Yeah, I don't think we have either.
Yeah.
it was just weird because, like, they did a whole lot of nothing, so to speak. Like, they just did a pick swap, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It's not like how it is in the NBA or the NFL draft where, like, a pick is swapped and usually like a player or something like cash considerations or something gets like thrown along with it. It was just, hey, we're gonna go 8th instead of 5th, and you guys are gonna go 21st instead of 16th, and that was that.
I just want to say, I'm not going to put his business out on Front Street, but a Chaos fan that we know has given his input, and let's say he's not super stoked about the Chaos
hell.
pick.
Oh hell!
So
Let me see what
we'll see.
Let me see what he
We'll see
said.
what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm intrigued what this pick 9 is going to be.
I knew exactly who Neil was talking about the minute he said it.
Oh, we got Philly in.
Here we go.
We
Zach
will know
Carey
if it's a
just
good
tweeted
pick
that
based
Mason
on Kyle's
Woodward.
face. Everybody just watch Kyle's face.
Here we go.
Hold on. I'm watching Kyle's face.
I don't know.
Wow.
What do you?
I hate it. I hate it.
Well, you get Cav now.
I'm
With
mad,
no trade.
man. I'm mad. I'm mad. Well,
Kyle,
hold on. I'm gonna text him.
Kyle, where are you at on this?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one either.
I think he's going to run out of the box if I had to.
I texted him my congratulations. Hope he does well. I'll be right back. Be right back.
I don't. Do you think because his thing is finishing? Do you think he runs out of the box and does that?
It's him or CJ.
No. I'm not saying like you can't play him out of the box. I'm saying his strong suit is, being that finisher, and that running him out of the box doesn't really work that well. And there's no way you're running CJ out of the box. So, right?
Yeah, I mean, super interesting. I wonder what this means for Ethan Walker.
Yeah.
Well, Neil, it's like we were talking about earlier. Jake Taylor's probably coming out of the box. I mean, it's not bad. It's so weird that the Water Dogs went from having a great year to being 2-8.
Taylor doesn't fit any of those needs, does he?
No, that's what I'm saying.
he's a
Like, it
physical
doesn't make a
Dodger.
lot of sense.
He's a physical Dodger.
It makes sense from the standpoint that, like, he doesn't have to have the ball in his stick all that long.
Yeah.
Like, Showers, Kieran, CJ can just feed him the rock, and he'll finish with,
For
within
sure.
4 seconds.
And in a world where Kieran has gone, again, like we talked about with the Archers, in a year or two when Kieran's gone, he's right there. That CJ, Michael Sowers, and Jake Taylor attack line, that's great. That's great.
And what do you do when Zed comes back?
Let's also not forget Zed Williams.
Oh yeah.
Well, Zed's coming off an injury.
Yeah, but we're talking in a year or two when that happens.
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that's another wrinkle to this whole conversation is when Zed comes back, is Jake Taylor even going to get in then? All right, we got Callie in.
Is it Cav?
Hold up. I'll be right back.
We'll tell you in just a second.
There it is.
I like it.
I just heard it. That's crazy.
So, but hey, the Redwoods just got Chris Kavanaugh, Andrew McAdory, and Sam English. Like,
I ain't never been more mad in my life. I ain't never been so upset in my life. Because now what? Who are we about to pick? Sam King?
Stop it, Dre. Stop it.
That is incredible value for the Woods.
yeah,
Hey, like I said earlier, Wood to the playoffs.
As the 3 seed in the West.
And listen, honestly, with that lineup that they got, it don't even matter where they fall in the playoffs. They gonna be scary.
they're a lot better, but they still have a lot of holes.
Oh, let's see. 6 not in yet.
Part of the reason why part of the reason why I took them in the idea of the Blaze trade was because they just don't have that goalie play that
That's a valid
makes them-
point from Off Ball Lax. That's a valid point. It's making a lot of sense there.
I'm glad you saw that.
I have no information on this. I really like Levi Birch in this spot for the Outlaws.
To come in and play LSM and bump Pacino down, or what?
I mean, they don't have a lot of depth there either, because I don't think Eli Salama is playing PLL. So
summer box.
yeah, so there's 2 LSMs currently on their roster.
But they also don't. I feel like they don't have a whole lot of depth at close defense either, which is part of what happened last year when 2 guys went out and they just didn't have the guys that could really step in.
Might be Scott Smith.
We got.
There it is. There it is. Called it.
Wow.
I don't hate it, but
What's the goalie in Denver's name? It's like very similar.
McElroy. Owen
McElroy.
I have trouble saying it, but something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you're right. McElroy and McNaney.
Which is why I was wondering if Troutner was ever in play, because now you have 2 pretty young guys there. Like,
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one either.
like I said in the chat earlier, like I don't know who else would have taken him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
A reach, maybe.
Yeah. A reach for sure. It feels like they probably could have gotten him
Alrighty.
later.
And like you said too, Neil, like even if he does get selected later in the draft, the next couple classes are pretty good. Like, you know, theoretically could have just waited.
And like you said, Troutner's out there. McElroy played well last year. I mean, not amazingly, but you know, he played solidly to get you through.
Well, but Logan's not there to. I don't think they're going to put Logan out there to start right away. I think they're going to let him learn behind Owen because, again, like you said, Owen didn't play bad. He wasn't the greatest, but he didn't play bad. The nightmare of Sean Scanoni is done and over with, so I'm moving on to better pastures. But yeah, you know, I don't hate the pick. Would I have liked a midfielder or a defensive player? Yes, but you know what? I'm gonna trust the process, as Jackson likes to say.
My point though would go back to you've used your first pick in this draft to draft a player you're not going to start.
Exactly.
Hey man, it'd be like that.
Is this Ben Ramsey?
We'll see how the training camp battle goes, I guess.
Reached out to John Galloway, and he was like, and everything he accomplished, he was like, I'm kind of jealous of watching him play.
Why does he have a headphone in?
Boys throughout the entire game.
Who's he talking to?
Taking calls live.
Dialed in.
It's like-
No, Buddy has
You
an
never know what's
AirPod
happening.
Max in his ear. Hey, dog, that's my head coach.
You know, the great thing about him is he sees shots on it. So it's kind of nice to have a goalie, you know, that can cut his hands. But maybe we won't see him until after the
Let's see. Off-ball Lex said Jake Taylor, get a finisher for the Water Dogs. Drafting Natty Champs worked well for the Eagles. Water Dogs are doing the same.
We're happy to have him.
Good to see him in the next update. Maryland plays winner of the open round game in the NCAA game.
Sam King's still on the board here too.
You know, it's funny to hear all the people that think those draft parties are fake.
Yeah.
It's always weird because I'm like, I'm literally there.
Yeah.
I can assure you, it's not.
The boot shoey is wild.
You know, it's not me, but those are the Rough Riders. What you gonna do?
What's up, Josh? Josh is in the chat. I'm sure he's thrilled with the Redwoods.
Let's see. Oh, Will Strauss. I don't know if y'all read his comment, but he said, "Hope the Cannons can get some young midi legs so they don't fizzle out like last year in the playoffs. Brian Cameron was a solid signing to that end, but excited to see more from there." Alrighty, the Cannons pick is in.
I mean, this has been a hell of a draft for Joe Spalina.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hell of an off season.
Before the Cannons pick happens, who y'all got winning?
There we go.
Who y'all got winning the men's tournament?
Great pick. Great pick.
God dang it, Brandon.
Spoiler
Brandon's ahead of even me.
God dang it,
Sorry,
Brandon.
my bad.
Oh,
I knew who it was.
Great pick.
I knew who it was just by your reaction.
That is a great
Usually I'm
pick.
behind, so I figured I was still behind.
Mick Kelly is a great friggin' pick. Oh my goodness. He's a dog at Denver. Shame they couldn't get it done to get in the playoffs, but you know.
I go back to is that a reach?
With what they have? I don't think so.
No. Is that pick a reach? On
Like, would he
on
have
Adam
been there in round 3?
Yeah, on Adam Lamberti's big board, which obviously is a big board. Like it's not gospel or anything, but he was 18th. There were even right now there were like 7 guys ahead of him.
Who does that leave for Utah?
Sam King is still on the board.
Yep.
Sam King is still on the board.
Right here.
That would not be.
Levi
I don't think
Birch
that's a
still on
bad
the
pick.
board.
I don't think Sam King's bad for the chaos.
Yeah, Verch would be a good pick too. Lost Costa.
Verch would be a good. Yeah. I mean, hell,
I was
Ben
about to
Ramsey.
wonder. Well, I was about to wonder if anybody was taking Jackson from Army, but then I was like,
No.
I don't know if he's a senior, and also there's that service commitment too that comes with attending the service academy.
He is a senior. He is in this draft, but I don't think it'll be. Oh, they're going to commercial.
I'll be back
Honestly,
after the commercial game.
Do it.
Well, but
Honestly,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Honestly, I'm looking at this big board, and I'm like, yeah, Sam King would be good. Ben Ware would be good. Ben Ramsey would be good. The Chaos have so many holes. Like they need everything.
They need every help they can get.
They need everything.
Well, but
not goalie.
I feel like after what happened with, after what happened with Wiz, not Wiz, with Nick Turn. After what happened with Nick Turn, most teams are probably going to shy away from them service academy players, as good as they are coming out of there.
Well, I mean, and it's not even just Nick Turn. I mean, it's freaking Garrett Thule and Matt Russell, and like literally every academy player is that way. Like,
and I mean, Air Force has some dudes too. Hoping they beat Robert Morris, but you know that's my it's my Air Force bias.
Mine too.
But wait. Well, who do you guys have winning the men's tournament?
Winning at
Chalk.
Or at least you're 4. At least you're 4. Who's y'all's 4? That might be easier.
My 4 are I've had the same 4 since like week 3, and I don't see any reason to change them. And that's Cornell, Maryland, Penn State, and I forgot my 4. I don't even remember.
Hold on. I think we might have said it at some point. I don't know. We talk a lot in this chat. It's so hard to go back and see.
Josh Russell says Maryland can never go against a Tillman team, and I'm like, I mean, Tillman teams are great.
Same color gloves.
Tillman teams are great, but they've won what, two championships in the last like 10 years. Like it's not like it's a guaranteed lock just because of him.
So Neil had Cornell, Princeton, Maryland, and Penn State since week 3 of the season.
Yes.
Brandon never said his. Mine hasn't changed. Ohio State, Cornell, Duke, and Syracuse.
Chaos pick is in.
Brandon, you never said your 4.
Hang on one sec.
Levi Birch.
There you go.
Oh, good pick.
God dang it! I hate that y'all are ahead of me.
No, but I don't know. I think Neil's
that
4
feels
is
like a
probably
reach.
pretty good. I don't mind Ohio State, Dre.
Nah.
I don't know.
No,
it's tough.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's one that, like, if they're in there, I'm not going to be shocked at all. Like, they're clearly good enough. I think one of the ACC teams could make it. Like, I'm not going to be shocked. I don't think any of them are quite consistent enough to do it for 4 weeks in a row or 4 games in a row. But you're not going to be all that surprised if Notre Dame is there. You're not going to be all that surprised if Duke is there. Like,
I think the dark horse sleeper that most people are overlooking is Princeton, because just like how like when Penn State got screwed over, every moment following, they've just been a terror ever since getting screwed over. And there's just something about having a chip on your shoulder and something to play for that is gonna just make a difference. Like, I think, I mean, I'm not saying they're going all the way to the Final Four, but what they're bringing to the tournament is, that like righteous indignation that like, okay, we got screwed over. All right, we're gonna make everybody else pay for it. Type of like, play style. I think that's gonna be interesting to watch for sure. It's a shame they're not on the same bracket side as Cornell, because I would love to see that be a late bracket matchup.
Atlas is in.
Is this
hell.
B-Poll? Scott Smith, maybe?
Nope.
How do we feel about that Levi pick?
How do we feel about
like
that pick?
I feel like it was a bit of a reach.
Interesting one.
Oh,
That feels like a reach.
That feels like what are you doing?
Who?
I feel like he would have still been there. I don't even know who that is.
Let's just say he is 22nd on Adam Lamberti's big board.
Interested to see Kyle's thoughts on it.
It's also hard when, I mean, Yale has just been so bad this year.
That's so crazy. They actually have players at their watch party.
I know.
That's still just.
I'll tell you who's on the program that's on the rise for me, at least in the Ivy League, is Penn, and I've definitely been keeping up with how Izzy Skane's brother is playing. This is kind of funny. I don't know if this happened before the NFL draft or not, and I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'm apparently in a Browns fan bar, and I think that's funny solely off the fact that the Shador's with the Browns. Oh man, little light viewing humor for all you viewers tuning in.
I just realized that's twice now that Philly has. Oh no, Philly didn't select him. Never mind.
Oh,
Who we think Philly's getting with this?
I can tell you in about 3
Ramsey.
seconds.
I just hate that y'all's TVs are faster than mine.
Wow, I was just talking about him this weekend.
Man, this is not where I thought this draft was going.
This is taking a left turn quick.
Yeah,
Things just
for
dropped.
real.
Wow. Over Ben Ramsey?
Over Ben Ramsey.
What are they doing with this one?
Over Jack Gray from Duke.
That's crazy. A guy who's playing club lacrosse right now.
What are they? I have so much questions.
Look, it's Adam Lamberti's big board, but on Adam Lamberti's big board, Ben Ramsey, Jack Gray, Andrew Berry, Joe Jungerkes, Casey Wilson, Ty English are all ahead of Dylan Hess at the short stick defensive midfield position.
He's playing club right now.
He's playing club at Florida. Yep.
What? I guess
I will say too. I know you mentioned Casey Wilson's ahead of him on that board. I don't know how bad his injury was when he injured his ankle like 3 weeks ago. So that could also be a deterring factor. But
Josh Russell just asked, at this point, where does Sam King go?
Right here.
yeah, we're gonna say every pick moving forward.
Chaos should take him. But yeah, board. I'm not necessarily saying Sam King is the best available on the big board. I'm not saying that Casey Wilson and all those guys that's necessarily right. But when you're 7th and you're going ahead of everyone else, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What is happening?
Oh my goodness!
What is happening?
Oh, don't ruin it. I'm almost there.
No, we won't. We don't know lacrosse,
guys.
These coaches are just
another.
We apparently don't know lacrosse.
They took Levi they took Virch and they just took another LSM.
Yes, they traded back to pick 2 LSMs.
Poverty franchise.
Let's see how our chaos friend is doing.
Poverty franchise. Clearly, they forgot the last game they played. They only scored 1 goal in.
Well, and they have Troy Ray and Ryan McNulty. Like I get Troy Ray's a bit up there, and Ryan McNulty may not be the best dude, but you just drafted 2 of them. Do we need to go over their offense?
Michael's just smiling through the pain.
They don't have an offense. The best player on their midfield is probably Chris Aslanian.
Over Jules?
I
said in their midfield. He's listed as an attackman. Or at least I think I said in their midfield.
I guess for me, I don't understand because it's like you needed more offensive depth. Your offense without Josh Byrne on the field was middling. And even with him on the field, it really couldn't find a space to get going. And instead of going offensively, you're like, I'm going to double down and draft more defensive players. Make it make sense. Someone make it make sense. If you're a Chaos fan watching this, make it make sense, please. Let's see. Josh says maybe the Chaos have a trade in the works.
What are we packaging up? Long stick midfielders?
Right. Unlikely.
After the pick swap for the sake of pick swapping, I tweeted, pick swapping for the sake of pick swapping is about the most Carolina Chaos thing that I can manage or that I can imagine. And I just had to amend that to say that they saw that tweet and said, hold my beer, because drafting 2 LSMs in the second round is arguably more Carolina Chaos than that.
And Ben Ware's still on the board.
And that was projected to be a top, I think it was number 8 or 7.
Yeah. Honestly, I know, I get that there are some thoughts about whatever it is, the volatile nature of him. For me, for my money, he's the best one in the draft. Like, I watch a lot of ACC, so I will admit that there's some bias there just because I see them all the time. But for me, he is the best one in this draft. And I don't know why he's going backwards.
That's crazy.
Hey, y'all, check the group chat. Absolutely. That is absolutely what they're doing. Oh, man. Yo, I don't know who has more questionable draft choices. The Whipsticks or the Chaos. I swear it's a race.
My only takeaway from that last pick is that Roy Colsey must really love Jules Henningberg and must really love Josh Salata.
Okay, but even if that's true, your best midfielder is Chris Aslanian. And he's it by I think a decent margin. You got a few young guys, Knobloch and Dobson, that could turn out to be pretty good,
and they did trade for Gagnon.
Fair, but you're still hoping those guys turn into something, right. And it's like, Sam King is sitting right there. What are we doing?
I am very surprised that Wire, King, and Ramsey are still available at pick 17.
Yep.
And the Chaos draft is over. That was all their picks.
That was all their picks?
That's crazy.
That makes those two, the last two picks.
It makes them even worse.
I get the Levi pick with him being there, totally okay with that. That's a great value pick. The McDonald pick, good player, but don't see the fit.
What are we doing?
I don't see the fit.
Can Maryland make some magic happen at pick 17 again?
Yo, is this that commercial you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
This is kind of fire.
You know what's funny? This is exactly an old Nike soccer commercial.
Yes.
And it's still to this day, it's one of my favorite Nike commercials. It was directed by Guy Ritchie, and there's like a 4-minute director's cut of that commercial. And this is, I'm all for them copying that for this.
You have to find that and send that to me, Neil.
Love Dylan.
Oh yeah, I can send
Water Dogs.
So Kyle, I know you were away with the Water Dogs made their last pick. So with the picks that you guys have acquired in the draft so far, how are you feeling?
Slam dunk draft so far. Obviously CJ was a no-brainer. You're able to get Jake Taylor at pick 9. That's a lethal shooter right there. And then people forget Dylan Hess was drafted last year by the Chaos with the intention of a draft and stash because he was going to go play football at Florida. Didn't make the team, so then it made him draftable again. Dylan Hess made good on his own. Got drafted, 17 picks higher than he was last year.
And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the first club lacrosse player to be drafted to the PLL.
I'm pretty sure his varsity club lacrosse just made a tweet that makes it seem like he's the first one.
The Cannons brought that one kid from Texas last year to camp.
Hey, listen, Denver Outlaws, if you can draft Landon LaFlamme, draft him.
Did you guys?
I'm biased because I'm his coach.
Did you guys see Michael Harrison's message?
Yeah.
He said, we scored 1 goal last time I watched the game. And we lost multiple people, and we draft 2 LSMs. That is Carolina Chaos fans right now. Like, what are we doing?
Your boy, well, is Maryland's pick is in. Is this for Sam King?
Oh my.
Nope. No, it is not.
Hold on, I'm watching, I'm waiting.
Is it? It's got to be a D-mid, no?
Hey.
No way. No way. No way. No way.
Wow.
I like that pick.
I actually like that pick too, but it is funny.
Sam King.
So does Sam King go to the Archers?
No.
Sam King.
You don't think so?
I'm at the point of the Sam
I think
King.
we want a true midfielder.
This is now the Sam King watch.
Sam King, Shador Sanders.
Dog, that's crazy. Hey, any Colorado football fans that are mad, go at Jackson. Like, ain't nobody mad at that. No, but let's see. Who's on the big board right now?
Well, it's still Sam King at the top.
Who's behind him?
Ben Ware.
I can see the Archers getting Ware.
Yeah, so right now it's Sam King, Ben Ware, Ben Ramsey. That's your top 3. And then they still have Levi Virch on here, but obviously he's been drafted. So then Emmett Carroll would be the one after Ben Ramsey.
Brandon, how we feeling about these outlaws? The outlaws pick.
The one pick that I said we reached on?
Yeah.
That I said we should have not drafted? I'm fine with him as a player. I just don't like where he was selected.
I get that.
So this is part of the pick swap here.
No, this was our original pick.
Right, but they were debating that.
There he goes.
I gotta go get excited for this Archers, Outlaws pick. Hold up.
Is that Sam King? I mean,
I cannot believe.
3rd round.
Yeah. Sam King was my pick, like before we started for the Tour-a-thon this year.
Sam King does everything really, really well. He doesn't do one thing extraordinarily well. I think
You want to talk about a value pick?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have him as. That's that like TJ Malone level, like
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Like was it you that said 1st round talent in the 3rd round, Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely what he is.
And that is very representative of the Utah crowd at the games. I mean, the kids do this huge conga line. I mean, it looks like it wraps the whole stadium. It was really cool to see last year.
And that's big depth there, too.
Yes.
Like, Sam doesn't necessarily have to be thrust into.
Yep. I'm trying to think of the guys that we still have in the NLL. It may just be Haas and Myers.
What is? What does Ben Ware have to do to get drafted?
I would have to assume Layer's got to be one of these Whip Snakes picks.
You think Whips?
Alrighty.
That'll be my guess.
So they go Scott Smith and then a Ben Ware.
All right. So what I'm trying to make sense of this Pace Billings pick because I'm guessing the plan is to move Casino close. Like that's what my guess would be.
But didn't they do that?
Close.
Pace Billings.
I don't necessarily like the pick. I felt like I liked Ware better.
Look at what Scotty just said.
This guy. Hey, shut up. Shut up, Scott. Scotty, shut up. You have no proof that that's what I'm doing.
Wow.
You have no proof.
What? I thought Brennan Krebs was like their guy.
He is. He's the only guy.
Yeah, because their goalie retired. Their other one retired.
But again, I go back to Tim Troutner's out there. Like, there's other guys, and you could have addressed a hole. Like to me, what I'm saying is, to me, that would mean to me that maybe Brennan Krebs isn't. I mean, he's going to be the guy this year, but maybe isn't.
I had this as a possible Stags pick. His connection to Penn is big.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Ben Ware.
I really just don't like that pick.
Yeah, because Burnmore retired and Will Mark signed with the Atlas.
Yeah.
Seems
Agreed,
like
Scotty.
Clamoring for Ben Ramsey.
We don't need him.
Yeah, Utah is like definitely one of the teams that does not need Ben Ramsey. them and Denver are the two teams I'd be like, yeah, you guys are not drafting.
Surprised Carolina didn't take him.
It might be New York after Utah here.
Scotty said somebody got to pick up Ben Ramsey. How we feel about that Whip Snakes pick?
It's good goalie competition.
The Cannons are probably hoping Ramsey somehow falls into their lap at 28.
Well, because who's after Archers?
Atlas.
It's Archers, Atlas, Water Dogs, Whip Snakes. Which, if Ramsey falls to the Whips, I can also potentially see that being the best player available.
So who's left on the big board?
I mean, there's lots of guys left on it, but
Well, like game changer guys on the big board.
Ware, Ramsey, Colin Molshine, Jack Gray is another SSDM that should probably go high. I mean, at this point, you're going to get a lot of guys that probably aren't going to change the game.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just asked Dan on Twitter, any specific reason why Weyer keeps falling in the draft? I have no idea. GMs must know something that we don't. This draft has a lot of head-scratching moments to me. A 6'4" monster athlete at LSM who dominates between the lines that can score from two. Historically, those players do pretty well in the PLL.
Yeah. That's what I didn't understand about the whole conversation about him sliding was I was like, for me, his game translates even better into the PLL than it does at the college level.
We'll keep
there's still some guys, they're lower ranked on this big board, but there's still guys like Eric Maliver at Duke and Griffin Schutz at Virginia, Jack Ayamone. I don't know how you even say that. The dude from Penn State, Ayamone.
All right, Bates, just do this.
Let's see. Phil Shore said it was a close call for the Redwoods at number 3 between Sam English and Chris Kavanaugh, and they walked away with both of them.
I mean, on April 16th, Adam Lamberti tweeted that Ben Weyer is a, quote, polarizing prospect that could slide on draft day.
Yeah. Which, again, I'm like, I just don't know what they're seeing that nobody else seems to be seeing.
Hey, Neil, go check your tweet.
Here we go.
Hey,
Don't
man.
ruin it. Don't ruin it.
Oh. Huh. He's solid. That's a solid pick.
Huh?
That's a solid pick.
Okay,
That's a solid
but
pick.
again, he can be a solid pick, but Ben Weyer is still sitting there in this position.
Hey, like I said, Ben Ware might be the Shedeur Sanders of this draft.
You'll get to see him this weekend when Richmond plays.
He just might be. I don't know if that's rude or out of pocket to say, but yeah.
Somebody just tweeted me. Someone just tweeted me, did Ben Weyer kill someone or something? How is Mitchell Dunham being picked ahead of him?
Where were you when DJ saved Richmond's season?
He's
saying.
never going to hear the end of that. Oh, Scotty said, hey, see, your pronunciation guide, Scotty, didn't even help me. I don't even know how you pronounce the second half.
Scotty told me to chill. Hey, Scotty, stop me when I'm telling lies, man. Yo, Scotty said, wild how some of the most marketed players in college are sliding so much.
Another one.
Hold on. I'm waiting. Rachel's on TV. I just can't see what she said yet. Huh. What?
Wow.
I'm going to defer to my Syracuse expert.
I like Michael Grace a lot. He's a monster.
What position is he?
LSM defense. He was like the 3rd pick in the NLL draft last year.
Were the Water Dogs weak in LSM?
He went to the Atlas.
Oh, sorry. I literally just saw the pick was in. I'm sorry. My bad. Well, but the Atlas have Tyler Carpenter. What?
And CJ Costabile. And Colby Smith.
What was the point? Unless he's going to play close.
Honestly, if you told me that they all got together and decided to just lock out Ben Ware and just piss him off, that would make more sense to me than all of this. Like you said, teams are drafting LSMs that don't even need LSMs. It's like they're doing it to make a point.
Like I told y'all, he is the Shedeur
Scotty, I'm feeling good.
He's the Shedeur Sanders of this draft, and I
good.
stand on it. I'm going to stand on that. But Sam King going to the Archers is crazy, man. I'm still laughing at Neil saying, what does Ben Ware have to do to get drafted?
What I wanted to write was not politically correct, and so I didn't.
I feel that. As somebody that wears a lot of not politically correct gym shirts, I understand that. All right. What are the Water Dogs going with here?
This is a rich get richer pick, honestly.
Yeah, because I'm like, you guys have 4 LSMs.
Face off, maybe.
You can move to close.
Plot twist: they draft Ben Ware.
I swear.
I mean,
well, the Water Dogs kind of need a face-off guy, but granted, Kyle, you said it was 6 one-goal games. Those 1-goal games were not all of those losses were because they didn't have a face-off guy.
But a lot of them were.
I mean, who's the face-off guy? Is it Coletti?
Draft-wise?
Yeah.
Either him or Will Lynch.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with Jake Naso?
That's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of people are saying.
I also see an Archers jersey at the New York watch party. So,
dude, they are the true melting pot of the PLO.
Yeah, that's Archers, Whips, Chaos, and Atlas. I will say it's an Adidas Archers jersey, so he probably hadn't gotten one in a little bit.
Hey man,
yeah, it's a Grant jersey.
Yeah.
Where is Grant at now? Oh, Kyle, you were gone when I asked. Who do you got as your Final Four for the men's tournament? If you don't have the Final Four, who do you got as your winner?
You got the wrong one.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I do my big board watching by watching YouTube highlights.
You know what? Fair enough. If you had to pick a college to win, who are you picking? Hey, you got the wrong one. I'm sorry, that was funny.
Hey.
That was the greatest thing ever. The rain out here is messing with our TV. Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
The Water Dogs got Ben Ware.
Value pick. Value pick.
Okay, so my question is, what does that defense look like now for the Water Dogs?
Loaded.
Well, but I'm saying, who do you got where? Who's your close D?
Honestly, take your pick. Training camp's gonna be sick.
All righty. So I think with Ben Ware being chosen, all the
I like him even more. He had a
gone
House of the
now,
Dragon
right?
banner in his room that he was drafted for. I like him even more.
So House of Dragon. Sorry. So all the impact players are kind of off the big board now. besides Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
Will the Whip Snakes draft Ramsey here? Oh, their pick's in. They they moved that. They made that pick kind of quick. There's a lot of Kavanaugh jerseys at this draft party. So. No, that Water Dogs offense is about to be dope, and then their defense just got stacked up. Man, listen. Okay, Maryland's pick is in. Huh.
And Ramsey, the investment banker?
Hey, man, listen. Is that like... Neil, help us make sense of that pick. Hold on, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think you're muted, Neil.
Shit, I am. No wonder I've been talking and nobody's been answering. I was talking the whole time. Dre's asking about defense, and I'm like listing off who's playing, and he just keep talking.
Yeah, my bad, man.
No. I mean, I was muted. You didn't know I was talking. Like, I can't help you make sense of that at all because that is not the first Army player I expected to come off the board at all. Like, if you're gonna take a risk on a dude, why would you make it a short stick defensive midfielder and not like Jackson Eichner or even Will Coletti or someone?
Well, that's the other thing with this Whip Snakes thing. Like the Whip Snakes, their defense, like their offense was great. Their defense struggled a lot. So you drafted a dude who you really only get for that like rookie year that he's got to do his service commitments, and then you hope to get him back. So I don't know. If I'm, like Neil said, if I'm taking a risk on a player from a service academy, it's Jackson.
You know what, Dre? And you can back me up here. They need to start drafting Air Force boys because we can get Fridays off.
You can get Fridays off and Saturdays.
My sister was in the Air Force when I was in, and then she got out, she got pregnant, and now she went back into the Army, and it's a totally different ball game for her.
Man, listen, that is a very interesting pick by the Whip Snakes. Their last couple of picks, I'm not sure what you're going for here. Okay, so Carroll, I can understand because you want to give Krebs some competition. But going with short stick defensive midi, I don't understand. Because, who are their SSDMs right now?
Scarpello.
Who's?
Witcher.
For Whip Snakes.
Matt Witcher.
Okay. Yeah, they don't have. I don't think they have a.
No, it's Bernhardt and.
Wait, are we talking about the Whips or are we talking about the Water Dogs?
whip snakes for
Oh.
short stick defensive midi. Because I don't understand that pick. All right, so Philly is clearly cleaning up in this draft. When Kyle gets back, I'm sure Kyle will tell you they've been absolutely crushing this draft. What holes does Philly have that need to be filled?
Holes? I don't know that they have many holes. I think they need some midfield depth.
Because I'd say attack and D, they're solid. Goalie, they're stacked at. Yeah, midfield.
Yeah, I mean, their midfield is Zach Courier, Jack Hanna, Connor Kelly, Thomas McConvey, and Mikey Schlosser. Thomas McConvey hasn't been able to get on the field. Mikey Schlosser's been so injured he can't get on the field. So you really only have 3 midfielders right now.
Yeah.
Now they do have so many attackmen that some of those guys are probably running midfield, like Michael Bain, Kieran McCardle, Carter Page. I didn't even know they had him. Michael Sowers, Ethan Walker, and Zed Williams, and of course CJ Kirst and the people that they have just drafted. So some of those guys will run midfield, but it still feels like you could use some midfield depth.
So big board wise, who are your midfielders?
There's not a lot left, really. Not that I'd really.
What
Let's
would you
see.
say about the prospect of having Jackson run out the box?
Eichner for Army. I mean, I'm not a huge fan. Like, there's some dudes that are just too good, and you need to get them on the field. That was the thing with Brennan O'Neill was if you can't play him at attack, he's too good to not be on the field. So you run him out of the box. By and large, I think we overstate how often and easily an attackman can just get bumped up to midfield and run out of the box. So it's not my favorite thing. If there's someone good enough, Jackson Eichner, Eicher. Oh, there he is.
What up, fellas?
What's good?
What's up?
What up?
Oh, I just had the most frustrating game of my life.
I
apologize for being so late. We had a whopping 14-3 penalty disparity in our game today.
Is that back-to-back games that's happening?
Dude,
what
it's
age group do you coach?
high school. This is high school spring ball right now.
Oh,
Varsity.
hell.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. Bad. And some of it was our kids running their mouth to refs. So I get those ones, but they're coming down and we had a kid get cross-checked in the head. It was nothing but a simple push. Didn't lock him in. I'm like, that's contact to the head. That's a 2-minute non-releasable.
Even if it's incidental.
Even if it's incidental. The NFHS made that very prominent this year. Any contact to the head, locked in, incidental or not.
Wait, which state do you coach in?
Michigan.
Okay, I coach in Colorado, so I have your similar frustrations.
Yeah, I understand that the refs are having trouble because they change the rules every year. But the head contact thing is pretty simple. You hear the helmet, you call it.
Even if it's incidental, even if it's and especially the biggest thing, push with possession, contact to the head, illegal body checks.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you guys in playoffs now?
No, we have another week and a half before playoffs.
Yeah, we have playoffs. Well, first round is tomorrow, but we have a bye, so we're
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Good luck for the rest of the year. Who just got drafted?
Jimmy Freehill, baby.
I hope you have a good luck as well.
I do just want to say, I think the Redwoods have so far royally fucked this draft. Outside of McAdory. I love the McAdory pick. I don't mind the Sam English pick. Getting Chris Cav at 10, ridiculous. Don't do that. What are we doing? We got. Have we picked up? We haven't picked up a poll in this draft yet, even though we let a couple of them go. Like,
especially Ben Ware.
What are we doing?
Let's see. Jack Vanderbosch said, "Did Bill Ramsey legitimately someone or something? What am I missing here?" You know what? That might be that's a good question because well, for the Redwoods, what polls are left on the board that are, I guess, viable?
None that I would take. All the best ones, Pace Billings, Brendan Lavelle, and Levi Virch are off the board.
See, I would have rather the Archers get Ware as opposed to Billings. But, I'm not in the draft room, so what am I?
Hey, I'm telling you, you're going to like Billings, bro. Billings is a beast. He reminds me a lot of – he's going to be a lot like Zupi is for the Whip Snakes, but I think slightly better. He's a monster in the middle of the field in a ground ball vacuum.
But my thing is the Redwoods have 4 very good polls. The oldest one is 28. The other 3 are below 26. Like Arden Cohen, Chris Conlon, Chris Fake, and Holden Garland. Like that's a solid defensive line.
I will say Holden Garland.
Yeah, and they get Kastner
retired. That's what
you also got Kastner coming in.
I did forget about Kastner. I do like Kastner.
I forget about him too.
So I'm actually super pumped for Kastner to come. I think he's going to be a huge add to the D. But there's nothing wrong with what I think it would just be depth.
I mean, that's fair.
Especially with Holden supposedly retiring in February. Because that's what the site, the PLL site says he retired in February. Me and KB have been trying to figure that out for a little minute now, and we have no clue what's actually happening.
One thing that we have learned through I don't know how long you were involved with your game, but I don't know if you saw the 2 retirements that were announced, not even announced, they were kind of leaked out of coaches during the press conferences today. Mike Channinchuk and Will Haas.
Okay, we knew about Haas.
Well, did we? I haven't seen. I couldn't find it announced anywhere.
I wouldn't say we knew about it, but I think there was a lot of speculation, and everybody was kind of like, it only makes sense that they went and traded for Geddes if Will Haas is retiring.
Yes.
So that was kind of the mindset there. So that one doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to say I'm not surprised by Channy, but it is kind of like out of left field for this year. I thought maybe this year and then he'd talk about retiring, but
yeah.
Wow.
Well, what was interesting was that the coaches seemed to kind of intimate at least that they had known for a while about both of these retirements, and they both seemed to know that the PLL was not going to be announcing them for even a while longer. Specifically, Stags with Channy seemed to really indicate that was the case, that these had been on the books for a while and that the PLL was even still going to wait even longer. So, Jack Ray, that's a good pickup.
This is a good pick. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. I like him a lot. He'll be good in that.
I like the last one too.
Nobody told me Michael Grace went to Atlas.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's insane. And I do just want to shout out Chris Bates for not ruining my night and drafting Matt Trainer. So I'm very glad he chose not to do that.
Oh, I wanted him.
Yeah.
I wanted him bad.
Well, I think that's all the picks for the Outlaws. I think that's all the Outlaws picks. What pick number was that?
27.
That was 27.
Oh, they had Zach Carey had the Outlaws drafting Alex Marinier from Ohio State. He had Jack Gray going to Boston, but I'm sure now someone's going to draft Alex.
Well, they did. The Outlaws did what they said they were going to do.
Hey, Alex Mariner's story is insane.
Yeah.
Like, homie came into college as a deep hole and has just been torching the league as a damn near the best attackman for the last 3 years.
It'd be interesting to see how everything just ends up for him. Like, I wonder where he's going to go. I can see him going to Utah or Carolina, especially with
Mariner?
Carol. Yeah, I can see him going there. I don't know. Who do you got the Redwoods getting next?
Nobody. Literally, let's just end the draft right now. They've already ruined it.
Oh, he's
so mad. He's so mad.
He said, "Nah, I'm cool." He said,
He was mad from his game, and then he walked off the field and learned that he was even more mad about the draft.
He said, "I'm cool, dog. Get them
I'm
up out
so
of here."
cool. Y'all don't even understand.
Hey, I'm happy about that Kevin Farnham pick.
That's a solid pick.
Ben Ramsey to the Cannons.
God,
What a great value pick for them.
If that happens,
Yeah, that's
I'll
great.
be like, yo, whatever.
Ben Ramsey fits their squad so much too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a crazy.
That's such
like,
a good
look,
pick.
this is about to be a cool ass season for the league, man. This is really about to be a cool one.
This is what I hate when people are like, oh, they're losing all their stars because the league's dying. And I'm like, all you did was create more space for new stars. That's all you've done. Like, half these dudes will show up and be big names in 2 years, and they'll replace Josh Byrne. Like, not saying I don't miss the ability to see Josh Byrne play, but we'll just create new ones because of the void that he's created. So
I miss Lyle Thompson in the league every year.
Absolutely.
I do miss it, but I get it at the same time.
How do we feel about a Sam King over Chris Cav? Like, with that 10th pick, I would have loved for the Redwoods to have picked Sam King instead. If it wasn't going to be a short stick D mid or a pole, it should have been Sam King.
Well, I would like to explore why you don't like the Chris Cav pick, I guess.
Okay. This is going to sound weird, but I don't think Chris and Pat should play apart from each other.
You know what?
And that's the only reason I don't like the pick.
The one thing that I'd say is I think Chris Kavanaugh runs out of the box better than Sam King does, and I think that might be the spot that you're looking at.
But
with
see,
all,
I would have switched it, and I would have McAdory coming out of the box. We can always have him dodge from down low.
I think McAdory's coming out of the box either way. I think all three of those guys are coming out of the box.
Ooh, I don't know if I like that. I don't like Chris coming out of the box. I think if you take him, you put him at attack because of his riding ability. I don't want him playing mid. I want him riding.
Well, if you want you can game plan around that. Like, even if he comes out of the box and you want him to ride, have one of your attackmen. Like, you can game plan that. I'm not saying it's the best option necessarily, but you can game plan for that. But with Jackson Morrow, Brandon Nick Turn, Ryder Garnsey, and Wes Berg, like those, some combination of those four seem like your starting attack for me.
Yeah, I mean, see, I like Wes Berg coming out of the box because of his position. You can still stick him on attack, quote unquote, and put him on the inside as a midi. And then he can just hound that middle, and then you can still have three actual attackmen out on the field.
DJ, do you know, just because I know you deal with more, well, and Brandon even too, I know you two deal more with NLL than me or Jackson. Do you guys know, is Alex Simmons, he's still listed on their roster, but my understanding was he was playing Shamrocks.
I think he's going to play Shamrocks.
Okay. Because everyone else has been deleted, but he's still up there. All the other MSL guys have all been deleted, but he's still up. So I didn't know.
I wonder if he's giving them a chance this year.
because
Well, I feel like
of the new
he never
leadership.
got a chance in the PLO. I feel like he never got a proper chance.
No,
But I'm wondering if he's going to get a shot this year with new leadership.
that's what I was wondering was has he committed to playing for them a la like a Josh Byrne, or has he signed with them a la Hasek? And like it'll be a thing where like when the PLL season ends, he might go join them if they're still playing or whatever. Because I haven't seen an announcement either way.
I wonder if he just wants to try training first week. If he's not burned, then he's piecing out. I could see that being a possibility too. It's like, hey, yeah, I'll do training camp. I'll play a week or two, but like if I'm not getting in the game, I'm out of here. I'm going to play Champions.
Yeah, right, exactly. That I can definitely see.
Well, because like Neil, me and you have talked about it before, but like I feel like with Alex Simmons, like for as great of a player as he is, like, I feel like he never got a fair shake.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like he can get that. He can test the waters with the new coaching staff and leadership there and see.
Yeah, see what's going on. Oh,
I will say,
yeah.
I know there hasn't been an official announcement of like this is what he's doing type of thing, but when the Shamrocks made their signing posts, it sure seemed like it was like he's here to like play the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't, because they signed like, I mean, felt like every NLL player that was available was them or the Chiefs. So in my mind,
but I
played the whole season, but I don't know.
But I also feel like the Graham Hossack post from the Chiefs also kind of intimated that, and then that doesn't look like it's going to be what actually happens. It looks like he's actually going to play with the Archers. So I didn't know how much, because I agree with you. I thought based on the post that's what he was doing, but it doesn't seem that way. And everyone else at this point has been removed except for him.
That's fair.
Which one of you guys is host right now?
I think it's Neil or Jackson, one of the two.
I don't think it's any of us.
Oh,
it's not me.
Kyle said whenever we are good. We are good.
Deej said he's back, but I don't know how to let him in.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
Oh no, DJ.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I've never done that. Like this is what I use for my podcast, and I've never done it as like not the host before.
Yeah.
Oh, who we got? California.
We'll read DJ's comments. Let's see. Who did they?
Wow.
Who did they just? Who did they get?
These coaches do not see things the same way Adam Lamberti does, because that dude was the 9th ranked SSDM.
Interesting. Interesting pick. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. The draft is over on my end. Well, I guess for the Outlaws. I don't think they're getting another pick. But I think we're wrapping things up here. I'm going to go lift heavy objects and put them back down at the gym. But it's always great getting to talk with all of my lacrosse friends. Neil, I will definitely keep you posted on if I am going to the men's Final Four. It's definitely something I'm strongly considering. Like 85% sure. As long as I don't have any summer lacrosse stuff going on. But yeah, hey, always fun talking with y'all. Brandon, always good getting to conversate with you. Jackson, you as well. DJ, shout out to you. Yo, DJ mad about the shorts and mini. Sorry, I just saw DJ. He mad about that shorts and defensive mini. All right. Hey, thanks for having me. Kyle, DJ, always thank you for having me. You guys have a good rest of your night. Thanks, guys.
See you, Dre.
See you, Dre.
They're firing these picks out now.
Dude. Again, though, I
saw him on some boards. Or I saw somebody post about him today.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, don't be surprised when he gets drafted or something.
He is the 35th ranked player on Adam Lamberti's board and the 8th midfielder. The midfielders ahead of him were Devin McClain. Oh, Devin McClain's the only one that hasn't been drafted that was ahead of him. It feels like so much of this draft went LSM and short stick defensive midfielder.
Yeah, well, part of that's chaos drafting two of them, and everybody spiting, Ben Weyer. But
I think you could have given me 100 chances to pick their 3 picks, and I would have never gotten to two LSMs going in their 3 picks.
No, and who did they take first? They took Hiltz, is that right?
Yeah, Hiltz. So it's Hiltz, Verch, and oh wait, I can do it right here. Hiltz, Verch, and McDonald.
3 midfielders and an LSM for New York.
I can't believe California has another pick. I feel like they're just picking every.
5
What's
picks?
up?
They had 5 picks this draft.
Let's see, 2, 3, yeah, 5. Yep.
Feels like more, honestly.
It does feel like more. That's what when you said it was 5, I was like, no, it's not 5. That's why I was counting, and then I was like, oh, that's not actually that bad. Like you said, it feels like they have just picked like every 2 or 3 picks. There's a Carolina pick or a California pick. Okay. Man, they got very solid. I don't want to say good, but I'll say solid on offense in this single draft.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thinking in the idea of like moving Blaze for Carolina was that in a single draft, you could do something like what California has done here with, 5 picks. It hasn't even been that many. And again, all of them are not. Oh, maybe they were. No, okay. They picked Carter Rice with their previous pick. So they weren't all offensive picks, but they have gotten so much more solid on offense in this draft, like overnight.
And I'm curious too, with the new system as well, how that works out too. Because I you can't get much worse than what they were, honestly.
No.
But again, the defense could be better. I'm not saying it was, the best in the league, but also you could say, hey, if that offense is a little bit better, that probably takes some pressure off of the defense. But even if that defense was solid, like I think it was fairly good. So like if this offense can be, it needs to be significant, I guess, but not that significant in terms of PLL standards. They were I don't even know what they were. What were they? I'm trying to pull up stats.
Deej said, so Lop's not taking a goalie.
I mean, who would have been left though? Frakion?
Yeah, I think he was the one, unless they wanted McNaney.
McNaney went to the Outlaws though, didn't he?
He went 11th, yeah. So they would have had to take.
They could have taken him at that Chris Kavanaugh pick.
But honestly, like that makes too much sense for them to take Cav like with Ryder there, and like it's.
I agree. I don't think they should have taken the goalie again because Tim Troutner's out there who I know he just left the Redwoods, but new team, new leadership, all that stuff. Like, you know, it's not the same situation. Though I do agree with DJ that any of them would have been fine. I just don't believe in Chase. I wouldn't believe in Chase either. I think Jack is probably the starter coming into it. Obviously, we'll see what happens at camp and if they sign someone else. But and yes, Jack was not as good as he could have, or you would expect him to be. But
that's
we're
tough.
only going to get.
Like we said, if your offense isn't producing the way it should, all of a sudden, every all the burden falls on you.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time being like, blaming goalies at all because it's just like it's a two-way street. Like if one end isn't working, like
yeah, no, I completely agree that Jack Kelly was at 50.4% saves last year, and if that offense is better and he's facing even 6 or 7, 8 less shots a game, like that starts to add up. And again, I'm not saying he's going to be Blaze or, Dobson or something, but like if he can be a respectable goalie on that end, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Bryce Ford. Oof. I hate when we get down to the end of the draft because most of these guys I'm like, oh, I don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm also still pissed we won that game in week 10. We should have had CJ. Here's the question for you, DJ, as the Redwoods fan. Would you take CJ and less of the rest of what you got, maybe a standard 3 or 4 picks, over not getting CJ and getting, 5? I didn't even finish. He already said yes. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
For anyone that's still listening, DJ's phone crapped out and none of us are the host. So we can't let him back in. So he's just commenting and we're relaying the messages. Kyle is the host of this. He gave us kind of the way to get in through the back door, but we don't have any of the host controls. So, and Jackson, his laptop died. So I don't know if he'll jump back on or not. Was that the last pick that just happened?
I think so. That was 32.
Yeah, Bryce Ford. Yep, 32, last one. So
now the fun part begins of undrafted player pool.
Yeah, let's hold on. I'm gonna go back and see.
Let's see.
Where's my draft?
Do they have like a player tracker on their website or something?
If you go into the draft page, there's an available list and it's Adam Lamberti's big board, and it's everyone that was drafted is pulled off of it. So everyone that's left on it is the guys that are left. His number 1 overall that's still left is Colin Molshine from Princeton. Will Coletti's on here, Alex Mariner, Jackson Eichner, obviously. Oh, Mike Grace did get drafted, so I don't know why he's still in here. Jack Fracyon, Will Lynch. Yeah, there's still some guys out there. Eric, I never know how to say his name, from Duke, the one that played for Maryland, Maliver, I don't know.
I have no idea.
And Jack Amoni, Wood should sign McLean and Fracyon. I mean, that Fracyon, especially, I think is a good look. Why not sign him? Especially if you just really don't want to go the Tim Troutner route. I wonder.
Wait a minute. Ben Wayer was drafted, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a Ben Mayer as well from Ohio State.
What's he play?
Midi.
Midi.
He's pretty far down this list. He's like halfway down this list, but
Oh, I see Ben
I saw
Mayer.
it and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, he was already taken. Like, that's hilarious.
I'm looking at who else is who's still available to be picked up. Man.
Was Jake Naso drafted already?
I believe he was. No, I don't think he was drafted.
So he's just like
he came into camp last year, and then didn't. I can't remember with who, and then didn't make it. And then when he obviously in Saskatchewan, he's like taken off, and everyone's kind of like, wait, what? Why? Especially when like the dogs were waiting for Stathicus, and it's like Naso's sitting right there. Like, what are we doing?
I'm wondering if, like, obviously there's a couple undrafted guys that are available, but I have to think that Naso would be the first call.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking to see who's on Dan Arestia's free agency tracker that still doesn't have a team. Tim Troutner's probably the big name. Did Pat Aslanian retire?
I don't think so.
Okay, then he's still out there. I know, like, he hasn't updated this in a couple of days because Matt Kavanaugh's still listed as not having a team and not as retired.
It doesn't say Pat's retired, but it does say he's not on a new deal.
Yeah. What about Glicini? I know he's still listed on the Chaos roster page. I didn't even realize he was a free agent.
Yeah, same thing. Through 24. It's interesting.
Will Haas retired. Did they re-sign Eli Salama?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, even if they did, I don't think he's coming back again.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Troutner is like the free agent that's still just hanging out there.
Yeah. Which even if you want to start him, it's just weird that like the team that needs or doesn't have, I should say, any type of veteran presence there takes another young guy. Like it's just, I'd prefer a veteran, but I mean,
you're talking about for the Outlaws. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Are you talking about for the Outlaws?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, like, I'm trying to think who else could sign him. I mean, the Woods, I don't think really makes much sense.
I mean, I think it makes sense from like a player stamp of like, hey, we need a goalie, and this is a guy that's PLL kind of established. But in the context of like Tim Troutner's career, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go back.
I'm trying to think of who else would even take him.
I mean,
because everyone kind of has their guy and their backup that they feel pretty good about.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought. The only one I'd say is, do the Whip Snakes have? There may be one. Again, they're in the same sort of boat as like Denver is like the guys that you have now are young. There's no veteran goalie. I mean, the veteran is the one, maybe 2-year guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they got Krebs, but yeah, he's like your veteran now.
Pretty sure Krebs has only played 2 years, 23 and 24.
Okay. I didn't think he was a rookie last year, but I don't think he played much in 23, right? That was Bernlohr's.
And then he played all 10 last year.
Right, because that 23 was the year Burnler got injured, right, and Krebs came in and played fairly well. Who? Oh, they grabbed Will Mark.
The Whips did?
No, I was trying to think of who. Like, why wouldn't Troutner still fit in New York? But because they picked up Will Mark, because he played in the championship series, and they liked he looked good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I thought he looked better than Tim Troutner, but I will also admit at least some bias towards Tim Troutner because he played at High Point while I was working there. So,
hey, that's fair.
In fact, I was doing like broadcasts. I was like running cameras, and one of my really good friends was working in their like creative department, and he ran videos, and his name was Will, and Will and his boss and Tim Troutner went down to the MLL draft in 2019 because it was in Charlotte at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And they went to like get content because they were pretty sure that Tim was going to be drafted in the MLL, and they went to go get content, and they didn't know that they don't do like the whole like stand up front with the jersey thing. And he gets back and he's like, man, what the hell? Like, I didn't know, like we went down there to get content. Like there was basically nothing for us to get. And I was like, why didn't you act? Like, I'm the lacrosse guy. I could have told you there's no thing. But yeah, they went down to they were in person expecting to get like an image of Tim holding up an MLL jersey, and it didn't happen.
That is so funny.
Like, yeah. So So how are you feeling overall about Denver? I wish they could do.
I mean, outside of the reach of the goalie, I don't really have too many complaints. But I felt pretty good coming into today.
Yeah.
Do I think that we're gonna like mop the floor? No, but like when I looked at the roster, it was kind of like there's not any like glaring holes necessarily. Yeah. Like you're kind of just adding on. I was very happy we took. I don't think we took any attackmen by my count, which is fantastic because I was
nope.
The one mock that had us taking 3 attackmen, I was just like, I truly, no disrespect to any of those guys, but like, come on, like.
To be completely honest, that felt like it wasn't made by someone who like does this. It honestly looked like someone kind of maybe looked at like someone's first round mock draft and then just kind of did best available for the other 3 rounds. Yes. And it just kind of happened to fall that Denver, ended up where the best available was 3 attackmen. I don't think that was like planned out in any way. But yeah, one was,
there's, trying to pull up where's their Twitter? Here we go. Like I think Jack Gray's a good pick.
I like Jack Gray. I mean, I'm a Duke guy, so that's a little bit of a homer thing. It's kind of
I feel good about. I don't quite know what the plan is with Billings then because you just got Pacino. I don't know. I mean, it's just again, it's 2 young guys again, so it's kind of like. It's a bit odd, but
well, and my problem is, as good as that defense is, you got to think Mike Manley and Jesse Bernhardt are probably a year or 2 out from being done.
But maybe that's what they're thinking is, could this be a final year and you need someone to come in? Because if you're gonna take someone to replace them, you might as well do it while they can learn from those guys, as opposed to if you wait a year, now you're getting literally someone fresh that's never, has no one to learn from.
it's always such a hard line to like walk because, you know, like, are they going to sit around? Because, especially because this is not a league where you get practice time together. And, you know, if they're not dressing, they're not coming to these weekend events. They're not. So, like, how much are they really going to learn? Like, yeah, camp is going to be a great spot for them to sit down with one of I have this Mike Manley, JT Giles Harris, and Jesse Bernhardt is like is probably my favorite defensive trio in professional lacrosse like history. It helps that two of the guys are Duke guys, but you know, but I think that they complement each other really well. They fill kind of the gaps of each other very, very well. They kind of do it all. They have lockdown. I don't know. I just really like the way that those three work together. And so, yeah, training camp is going to be a great place for them to learn. But then how much are they really going to learn from these guys? The thing that I think maybe you can hope for, or maybe even honestly plan on, is that Greg Weil is on the IR. So maybe you're kind of rotating through some of these guys as that fourth pole to kind of give them experience, get them learning and stuff. And then, yeah, in a year or two, when those two are gone, they can slot in more easily. The flip side of that conversation too is also that, I mean, LSM, they're pretty good on. Short stick defensive midfielder, they're pretty good on. Yep. We know their offense, they're pretty good on. So it's like, where are you? And not just are they good in those positions, but they're good with young enough guys that there's no other position on the field where you're like, oh, we only have a year or two left with this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Zach Geddes was the big pickup for them, and he's 26. Like, yeah, you're going to have 5 years with him at least. So Ryan Terafinko's 27. Like, those two are your SSDMs. Like,
as long as and then you like that's about as dominant as you can get, I think. Yeah. I mean, last year we were talking about Geddes being a sleeper for was it midfielder of the year, or I forget what award it was. But either way, like that again, it's one of those things. It's like you could draft depth, but like that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, and even again, we're talking about SSDMs, but they also got Jack Gray.
Yeah.
So like there's depth right there. Like I wouldn't be wholly shocked if Jack Gray pushes Alex Smith out.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't ask them to at least try it for a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
nothing there to like you said, coming into the draft, I already felt like you guys were in a really good position. One of the few teams I think that could really say that. They didn't have any holes. Anybody else jump out to you as just having like a really good draft?
Let me take a look here. I mean, I think the Archers had a pretty sneaky draft. I mean, getting Sam King when they did, I think, is just insane.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
You know, but again, they're a team that like they're back-to-back champs. They didn't need anybody outside of depth pieces. So it's kind of like now you add another guy to that who's already a good player. It's just like,
well, and they have. I think they have the one spot that they have is defense, where again Graham Hossack is sort of like we were talking about with some of those guys. He's looking like he's got a foot out the door. So to get Brandon Lavelle in and get him to a position where like he can learn from Graham Hossack, he can do these things. He will probably get more playing time, I think, than some of the guys we talked about for Denver. I think I think they covered kind of the one thing, and even that is not a strong need, but was like, okay, we got this guy that's kind of heading out probably, so we can pick him up. And then then you get Sam King on top of that in the third round. Is like, come on, Sam King with that offense is going to be so good.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to look here. Like, I mean, I like individual picks, I think, but no other team to me looks like sticks out as for like a full draft picture. Like, I think the Water Dogs have some really interesting picks. Obviously, having CJ is CJ. Like we were talking about with Jake Taylor, I do wonder, like, what does that dynamic look like? Because not that running him out of the box is necessarily like going to be a killer for him playing in the league, but it's just kind of like that's not what he does. So, and Dylan Hess, I admittedly have not watched club lacrosse really this year, so I can't speak to what type of shape he's in and all that. But
I think Dylan Hess is a good player. I think if he came out last year, my problem with Dylan Hess is I think even last year he was third, fourth best SSDM. So my problem isn't so much that you take Dylan Hess, it's where he got taken.
Yeah.
And it feels like you could have gotten maybe some, I mean, again, Sam King's still on the board at that point. Like, that could be a good pickup for the Water Dogs, right?
Wait, hang on. Yeah.
Dylan Hess
got taken in the second round, and King wasn't until third.
Yeah. So, I'm like, can't we have gotten Sam King? Like, doesn't that feel like a good pickup? Obviously they felt like SSDM was a bigger need. But again, I'd go back to like Jack Ray and Ben Ramsey were still sitting there. They didn't go to the fourth round.
Yep.
So, I'm with you. I feel like I like parts of other people's drafts. I love Matt Trainer to the Atlas. I don't know anything about Matt Krevsky.
Yeah,
man, I can't pronounce half these guys' names. Who else did they get? Oh, like you said, the Jake Taylor thing. In my mind, I don't think it works.
No,
I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I don't understand that one at all. Ben Wayer, I do like. I think is a good pickup. I think, I think again that his game translates really well. But then, I mean, literally right after that, 2 picks after that, then they picked up Jimmy Freehill, which I'm not saying is a bad pick. I just don't know where he fit. Like, is he going to make this roster?
I don't know, because that's back-to-back years that they've taken Denver defender. Because last year they took AJ Mercurio, who I think only played 1 game for them.
Right.
So is it a situation like that again, where it's like, oh, it's a Denver guy, so Coach Tierney took him, and like I will say Jimmy's one of those guys that, like, when you watch him play, like, his checks are different than most checks, and it feels much closer to the pro game. But I do think it is slightly weird, like, because like you said, I just don't understand how he cracks the roster. Mm-hmm. On top of the guys who are already drafted that barely cracked the roster, on top of the guys that are actually playing.
Yeah, so they have Ben Randall, AJ Mercurio, Marcus Hudgens, Eli Gobrecht, Jack Deben. Why can't I say any of these names?
Dude, it's a tough name.
Di Benedetto.
I think it's Di Benedetto. Is that? I think.
Okay, it could be. It's Bene, so it makes me want to say Bene, but I could see it just being Benedetto.
His name's Jack.
Jack. And then Liam Burns and Kenny Brower are Liam Burns is listed as IR and Kenny Brower is listed as out. I don't know how up to date that is. That could have just been like where they were at the end of the season and it hasn't been changed. But yeah, assuming that those guys are healthy, I can't imagine. I'm totally blanking on the dude from Denver's name. Where's he at? Jimmy Freehill. I can't imagine him making that roster. Not in any meaningful way. Can he get a game here or there? Yeah, right. Sure. Be a fourth bowl or something. Or a guy gets hurt or something. Sure. But like, not in any kind of meaningful way. So
it'll be tough. I mean,
now, and some of it is like you got it. I mean, one, you have to use a draft pick, obviously. And some of it's going to be like, hey, getting a guy into camp, getting some competition for some of your guys. With the first pick in the fourth round, like I don't know who you draft that makes more sense, other than again the fact that Ben Ramsey and Jack Gray were both picked later. But again, do the Water Dogs need defensive midfield help? They've got 5 guys on this roster, so. The other one though that I think the big one, the one that did do well, we've talked about several, but the other one that I think did do well was the Redwoods. Yeah. But they were also kind of in a situation like the Chaos where like they needed so much help that they could have picked a good number of guys, and you'd felt like they had a good draft.
Yeah. Well, having 3 in the top 10 certainly helps as well.
Yes.
Not that that's taken away from, you still have to, make the picks, but it's one of those, like, every pick kind of looks like a home run.
Right.
And I know people, will disagree on Chris Cav. I guess that's up to preference, but I don't hate the pick. It makes sense to me, but.
Oh, I forgot we're not looking at DJ's comments.
D Benedetto. That's a tough one.
I can't say like so many of these names. I don't know why.
I'm not getting that right ever.
I will say that I am a big Chris Kavanaugh. Let's not even say Chris Kavanaugh. It's not that specific. I am lower on all of the Kavanaughs than I think most people are. I think Matt Kavanaugh is head and shoulders the best pro Kavanaugh. And I don't think that he, he's had a very good career. I'm not trying to hate on him or take anything away from it. I just don't think that he, people treat Pat and Chris like they are going to be the these big, huge, like Jeff Teat level, like stars. And I don't think that they're even going to be Matt Kavanaugh level stars. So
that's fair.
Let me put that out there while saying I like them taking him there. I don't see anyone else in that immediate area where he was drafted that I think is a better fit with the Redwoods.
No.
Like we talked about, like, sure, they could have gotten Logan McNaney. I know that that was what DJ was saying he wanted, but I'm with you. I don't think that he's good enough to necessarily be like your number one. And I'd rather have, like you said, some leadership in there.
And I mean too, like everyone else that they signed, not that they're necessarily like old, but if you're looking to truly have this like youthful sort of turnover to where you're good for years to come, like, is Chris the worst pick? To try. And I mean, he's tight with Ryder. Maybe at some point you can pull Pat away from Denver to then, because I'll jump on your bandwagon here too. Like, I don't think Chris is as good without Pat. Like DJ was saying, like it's when you watch them play together versus just Chris, there's a very clear difference in my mind. And if down the line the Redwoods say, okay, let's go get Pat. Now you have Pat, Chris, potentially Ryder on the same team. Like that's all of a sudden looking at a much better situation than if you take McNaney at 10 and now you're still trying to find an offense, down the line.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not a big Chris Kavanaugh guy, but I like the pick there. I'll say this too: the only people I think had a bad draft is the Chaos. I think everyone else had kind of a solid draft, with maybe some highlights. And then I think the Outlaws and the Redwoods, the team we were literally just talking about, I think they had what did the Cannons do? Mackesy, Mick Kelly, nobody in the third, and then Ben Ramsey. All right, the Cannons did pretty well too.
Yeah.
The only having 3 picks, I think, kind of holds them back slightly. Yeah. I don't even know what I feel like they're missing. Getting Coulter Mackesy. I don't know a ton about Mick Kelly. Obviously, you're the Denver guy, and you were pretty stoked about it. So,
I think he can contribute pretty solidly. I don't think he's gonna transform them into anything crazy
right
in midfield, But yeah, like DJ said, he's similar to Ewok. Like he's just one of those guys that at least at the college level kind of makes the right play every time.
Yeah.
I had his stats up. Let me see if I can pull him back up because where are they at? Yeah, 35 points this year.
Not too bad, especially because they've struggled.
Yeah, they had just an awful year compared to last year for sure.
I know.
But, yeah, again, he's not necessarily most consistent on the stat sheet, but like you said, I don't know what they're missing, so it's like take a chance and.
Well, and I don't know what they're missing from this draft either. It's not like it's like, oh, they really needed an attackman and they didn't get one. It's like,
right.
I would have probably said that they needed midfield help and they got Coulter Mackesy and they got Mick Kelly, who, even if he doesn't pan out, it just means that that you had better midfielders with them. And I don't see anyone else, guys taken after him were Max Krevsky and Jack McDonald. Like, is he a better midfielder than they are? I know Jack McDonald was a LSM, and he's not even just a straight midfielder. So, yeah. It's not like they're missing anything there.
Boston to me is like it's gonna sound so obvious when I say it, but they just can't get over the hump. But they have everything they need in my mind.
Yeah.
Like I think it was last year that I picked them to win the championship before the year because I looked at their roster and I'm like, this is the championship team. Like they top to bottom, they have the guy in net, they have the attack group you need. Defensively, they're solid. And then they just hit a wall. And I don't know what I don't know if it's a mental hurdle or, what it is, but I feel like they're so close and yet they just can't get there.
DJ says, I would have liked the Cannons to take Griffin Schultz from UVA to add some outside shooting. I would agree. I feel like that might be one of the few things that they're, missing is some really solid outside shooting. But I also am to be completely honest, I don't know that I can answer this question. Can Coulter Mackesy be that though? I
don't even know. But even Griffin Schultz even went in the 4th round at 31.
Oh yeah, he almost wasn't even.
Not that that's a knock on him, but it's.
DJ says, could he? Yeah, but he reminds me a lot of Dylan Malloy. That's interesting. I haven't seen that. And I feel like every time I watch a Princeton game, it's the game that Coulter Mackesy like just kind of quietly is involved. And it's more about like Nate Kabiri and some of the other guys on their offense. So, speaking of Nate Kabiri, man, in 2 years, that kid's going to be so good. Anyway, yeah, but there was something else that DJ said, I'm indifferent about the Whips. I do think Scott Smith was a great fit. I agree. The Whips is a team we have not talked about at all.
Yeah. I will say I'm impartial to Aiden Carroll after watching him twice this weekend. That dude's very good. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, watching him, and I will admit, I've only watched a handful of games, the 2 games this weekend, and then I think I watched 1 or 2 earlier in the season. So people who have seen him a lot more may disagree with this take, but watching him, especially this past weekend, he reminded me just so much of Jake Caraway that like he can do everything that you ask. Like he can dodge, he can shoot outside, he can work in tight, like he can do it all. And my hope would be that in the transition to the PLL that he can also be Jake Caraway in the PLL, because I love Jake Caraway and I think he should have gotten more shine. They didn't have a second round. Third round, they got Scott Smith, Emmett Carroll, Christian Mazur. Yeah, I guess I'm with DJ. I like the Aiden Carroll pickup. I like the Scott Smith pickup as well. Emmett Carroll doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Christian Mazur doesn't make a ton of sense to me either. And that was it. That was their draft. That was their 4 picks.
Yeah, those final 2 feel like filler picks. Like just they're there.
Kabiri's going to be gross. DJ says yes. I agree. But yeah, like DJ said, the Whips kind of feel 50-50. They might be the closest to the chaos in terms of like not being good, and even they're about 50-50. Like their draft was fine. I don't know where the Whips had many more holes either. So,
I mean, I don't know. To me, I think it depends on how Brandau then comes into that offense.
Yeah.
Going from Zed to Brandau is a very different sort of vibe. And I would have to assume Rambo's kind of close to done. Maybe not, but
I would think he is. I think leaving the NLL was a sign that he's trying to prolong his field career a little bit longer. But how long that's going to be, I don't know. I don't remember. Let me see. I know he was down. Maybe not as much as it felt like he was down last year. Let's see. He had. Oh yeah, he only had 18 points last year.
Yeah, like I don't remember it being a very good statistical season.
No, I knew it was down. For some reason, I thought he had ended up higher. Like when you looked at it, it was like, oh, he wasn't as bad as I remember him. But 18 is not a great return for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking at this roster, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what they really would have felt like they needed.
Oh, and I forgot they got Pinnell as well. That just slipped my mind.
Oh, yeah. I did too, actually, until you just said that.
I was like, who were they missing? I look at the roster.
I'm interested to see how that's going to work out, but
yeah. But then again, I mean, maybe that's why you go get a guy like Aiden Carroll to just, if those 2 guys slip, then here's the keys to the young people. Because then at that point you have TJ, Brandau, and Carroll,
which is not a bad attack line at all. So is TJ going to the wing? I mean, yeah. I mean, unless RP3 is just awful, I I can't imagine we're kicking RP3 out to the wing. So
Man, I hope not.
that sounds terrible.
Uh,
That's why I really felt like I really felt like he should have gone to Carolina. It made so much more sense, and they have so many. It's such a better fit, I think. But clearly, Carolina.
oh wait, and two, Maryland didn't take a midi, did they?
No, I don't think so.
Because
it's just
that leaves them with Levi, Anderson, Ryan Conrad, Channy retired, right?
Mhm.
And Tucker, I believe it was reported that he's going to be out for quite a while.
Yeah. Whatever
So-
injury he has was
So
worse
it's
than
just
just a
Levi
broken
and
jaw.
Conrad.
What about Heacock?
Oh, sorry. I didn't have my screen extended. I was like, I'm only seeing 4 dudes here.
They got Heacock and they should have Brad Smith too.
I can't scroll over. Why is this not letting me scroll over? Let me just try this.
If you click and drag, that's what I end up doing is like clicking on one and dragging
Okay, here we
it
go.
over. and
I'm
then it
tripping,
does-
yeah. I was like, why is this not letting me?
So they should have
Brad
Poitras.
Smith, Portra, yeah. Never mind, so they're good.
I mean, I would think midfield depth would be a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Heacock didn't do much of anything. Getting Brad Smith back will be a good thing, I think. But Heacock didn't do great. Tucker Dordovic being out is going to be a problem. Chuck retiring is going to be a problem. So I don't feel horrible about their midfield situation, but again though the question becomes who could they have gotten? I think Aiden Carroll might run out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it now, like, he's almost going to have to.
Yeah, he can run out of the box, and if that attack line is healthy and working, then like there's no need to cram him in down there. But if anyone is hurt or this RP3 Brandow thing TJ Malone thing doesn't work out, and they have to start messing with it, then obviously they might need him. But then the other question becomes like who was available to them, because I mean all of the big name middies were all gone by the time they had a pick, so
Yeah, I think only 3 middies were actually chosen after their last selection, or were remaining, I guess, after. What is this, round 2?
DJ says, is Brandow starting over Rambo? I'd start him over Rambo. I don't know that they will. He's too important to the culture of that Whip Snakes team. So I don't know that they will, but I certainly would.
I don't know if he will right away, but I do think at some point there's going to come a time where it's kind of like, look, like, he's got to start.
Where? Brandow didn't really play last year, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. I was going to look for his stats, but jeez.
Yeah, he played in 6 games. He had 6 points, so. Yeah, DJ. 6 games, 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists.
Playing as it would have been what? Sowers, him, and Law? Not Law. McCardle.
Yes. Well, did Mikey Bame play with him as well, or were they getting swapped out for each other?
I don't even know.
I don't remember because I know that like Bame didn't play every game either.
I'm also even wondering, like, was he running out of the box and they had like, Ethan Walker or something playing low? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't paying well enough attention to Matt Brandau. I wasn't watching those games thinking that he might be important to see, like, hey.
Yeah, DJ said one of them probably was running out of the box, which, I mean, it makes sense.
Looks like, is this from the... Looks like Dylan Hess might have scored. Dylan Hess scored what, admittedly, the University of Florida club's team account is calling a goal of the year. It is actually a pretty good goal. He's coming up. He like rolls on his defender and is coming like heading at the crease. A defender slides and he like rolls and spins and like backhands it all in one motion. It's a pretty good goal. But
it's nice.
it's pretty good goal.
I don't know if I'm saying goal of the year, but
I mean, scoring that goal on the same night you get drafted into the PLL is
that's true. Does he even know he got drafted if they're playing right now?
That's actually a really funny question.
I would hope someone on the sideline is like,
surely
hey,
someone on the sideline. Hold on.
He's like not answering his phone. They're trying to
right. He's gonna pick up his phone at the end of the game and be like, "Oh, they must have seen my goal."
Oh, it's funny.
That's so funny. Oh, that's a question.
Yeah, but outside of that, Chaos's draft, I'm still just I have so many questions about their offseason as a whole. I feel like has just been like, I don't want to say random thing after random thing, but just like a lot's happened like all at once, and then this draft just makes no sense on top of all that.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been talking about it. The season ends. They let go. The person left. I don't know all the specifics. I don't want to get into that. I don't care. The person who was running the social media accounts left. There have been basically no updates until today in the intermediate time. Obviously, Andy Towers and the like shock whole team leaving was a thing. Then I was really bothered by like, okay, that happened, but then it took so long to get a coach and a GM into their positions that all the free agents were signed. There was no one there to work for Carolina. All of their free agents left, and they weren't able to sign anyone because there was no one there to do the work. And so by the time Roy Colsey and Spencer Ford are in place, there's half their roster is gone. The other half decided to go play the MSL, and there's no one left. Like we just talked about, the only free agent left right now is Tim Troutner, and they don't need a goalie. And then, whatever tonight was,
I just don't get how they did that with 2 picks in between. Like, it's truly.
Yeah, so they drafted at 8. Oh no, they drafted at 13 and 16, and they drafted 2 LSMs. The PLL is giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're calling Levi Virch a defender.
Are they?
That's what they're calling Levi Virch.
They must have changed
even
that,
though
'cause on this graphic it says LSM.
No, everything I've ever seen, it's literally just this draft page that has him listed as a defender.
Oh,
and
well then whoever made this graphic that's on the actual PLL Twitter put true position as LSM.
Well, I mean, that's my understanding is that's what he's playing. That's what he's being drafted. Yeah, I don't know. But then they also have Jack McDonald listed as midfielder.
Someone on YouTube said Chaos running LSMs for offense.
Well, that's the joke talking about the Outlaws drafting 3 attackmen from that TLN thing. Like that was the joke I made in our group chat of like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Jake Taylor playing LSM, and we're gonna throw I don't even remember who else I had, but one of the other attackmen in goal. See what they got. Like it's the same thing, just opposite. We're just gonna get long poles running attack, and yeah, sure, why not? It'll be fine. I'm sure if I know he hasn't necessarily played up to the level of what we think he's capable of, but if I was Jules, I would be pulling my hair out with this team. Like, how is this possible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at their like signing like the post that they made, and it's, I mean, Jules and Sergio, I think, are the only 2 returning, and then you have Silstrop, Zawada coming in. Chris is laying in.
Yeah.
Like it felt like Josh Byrne was like the last of like he's not going to summer box yet. Like you at least have a star. And then when that news hit, it was just like, oh, like you're kind of like you're way late to the party. Like,
yep. Yeah. To me, I feel like they have done a half decent job of getting like some solid role players, but like you said, there is no stars on that offense. As much as I love Jules, like he is the closest thing to a star they have, and he's correct me if I'm wrong. Hold on, I'm right here. Let's look at his stats. I don't even think he's had in 2019 he had a 30-point season. Since then, he's never even had over 20 points, and it just kind of keeps going down and down and down.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and now he has to be the guy.
And I think he can be, at least in theory, on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Although you'd also say, he's 29. It's not like he's a spring chicken. Is that a
this will be his 8th year, looks like.
Know? Yeah, something like that. Well, is it 8th?
Because he started in 2018. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2025 will be 8.
Okay. That makes sense. And then I was wondering, because in 2020 he didn't technically play because he had COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. There's 0 games played 2020, but it's still listed as a season. So 7 playing.
I don't know. Like, how do we count that? Do we say he only played that this will be a 7 season? Because I mean, he was on the team, he was rostered, he just was hurt. I mean, he was sick, but
I think it's weird. I know I know the NFL, you have to play like a certain amount to be credited a season or something like that. Like if you're a veteran or something along those lines. But I mean, technically, as long as he was like in the league, I'd count it as a season, but that's obviously less wear and tear on your body than if you played 8 straight.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why like I didn't understand the idea of moving back.
Yeah.
If you move back and you get a half decent player or some extra picks, some extra capital to make this team better, like cool. But moving back just to move back and not getting anything out of it doesn't make any sense to me when you look at this roster. It made way more sense to me to try and move up, even at the expense of, a Blaze Reardon, and move up and get that like focal point of what your offense is going to be for the next decade, rather than moving back and taking Owen Hiltz. And there's nothing wrong with Owen Hiltz, but like, does he turn this offense into a good offense?
Right. And it's especially weird when Sam King was sitting right there.
Yeah. Also, why did I just now notice that Josh Shawada, like, it makes sense if I think about it, but Josh Shawada is 26.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's a second-year player. He is your second oldest attackman.
Wow. That is wow.
Oh, that's not great. Also, as much as I love Josh Shawada, man, he was driving me crazy last year, watching him just look off Brennan O'Neill over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, I really honestly started to feel like he just didn't like Brennan O'Neill.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, I've played with you for a year. I'm over it. I want to make a name for myself. Because I just can't explain it otherwise. It just doesn't make much sense to me. So,
yeah, that was such a strange dynamic at times where I'm like, you took this guy, number 1 overall or whatever. I think Brennan was number 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give him the ball every single time. Like, I do not, unless you are wide open, give him the ball. And then if you get it back, great. But there was just too many times that, like, he'd look at him and just, like, look away. I'm like, bro, like, no offense to you, but he's the guy. Like, come on.
I remember, I can't remember what game it was, but I remember there being a huddle and they had like the camera in the huddle and you hear Pseudo draw up a play to get Brennan the ball and for Brennan to be the initiator. And they come out and it gets to Zawada at X and they're just doing simple exchanging. Like they haven't even started. Cause again, Brennan's supposed to initiate and he gets it at X and he looks at Brennan O'Neill and he just goes, nope.
Yeah.
And starts to, and it was like,
you're like, wait,
we literally just heard like the plan was to get the ball to him and let him dodge. And you didn't even exchange the ball to him. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I know Brennan O'Neill, can be a little bit I don't even know what the word is. Shy feels way too harsh. I don't even know if harsh is the right word, but like I think Brennan O'Neill doesn't want to take the ball from his teammates.
Yeah.
Like
he is too passive at times.
Yes. In the sense that he wants to be a good teammate, a good friend, team guy. I don't think that he wants to take the ball from his friend, from the rest of the guys on the team.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like in that Atlas game last year, there were times when he just let himself be taken out. He was like, that's fine. You can shut me off and I won't make it hard on you. We'll just pull you out and like let them go 5-on-5. And I don't know, that team drove me crazy. I was at that Atlas game and it was like, what are you doing, Brennan? Like,
yeah,
I'm with you. I think it should go through him. He should be getting a touch.
He needs to touch
every single time. And I probably would want him to, be kind of the party starter at least from the attack end. God, excuse me. And so often they just don't even give him the ball. It's like, what are we doing? So, anyway, that's not really draft conversation, I guess, but, Oh, there was one. What was that? Oh, I know what it was. It was, you brought up Brennan O'Neill, and it reminded me of a tweet that I saw earlier about CJ Kirst and potentially being one of the short list of guys that goes number one in both the PLL or MLL draft and the NLL draft. And you know way more about the NLL than I do. One, do you think that happens? I don't know a ton about what CJ's prospects in the NLL are.
Yeah, that's a tough one just because I've never seen CJ play box. It wouldn't shock me necessarily off of name alone, but
Yeah, and I don't know who's even coming out this time.
let me see.
Like I know next year obviously is Spallina and Finn Thompson and several of those guys.
It's tough too because I get this year's guys mixed up with the guys that were drafted last year but haven't played yet. Let me see.
Did CJ play? DJ says, I'm pretty sure CJ played World Box in the last championships.
Oh, yes. Actually, I think he did.
Did he? Because I thought the whole thing was that Joey was the only college player on that. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's what I thought.
He did. Here's a photo and a video of him scoring.
Okay, so CJ did play.
In this clip, at least, is scoring on Team Canada.
Okay.
And he rocketed that thing from deep. So if and the thing too is like if he, has a crazy year in the PLL or a decent year, I can see NLL teams just going, you may as well take him. Like,
there he is, CJ Kirst.
Yeah, he moves pretty well.
He had 8 goals and 3 assists in that tournament. Looks like he only played 5 of the 6 games. He was behind Joe Resiteritz, Blaze Reardon, Jack Hanna, Charlie Bertrand, and Joey Spallina.
Which that's a great group. Like,
yes. Yeah. And again, it's like, okay, almost all of those guys are like NLL pros, except for Joey Spallina, who, 2 years ago, I knew that he was going to be the 2026, number 1 draft pick. And like I said, I don't know who's coming out this year that could, beat him at to that number 1. But I saw the thing and I was thinking how crazy it is that in the, first 20 whatever years of those 2 leagues existing, again, going back to MLL days, it had only happened twice with Lyle and one other dude. I don't know who it was.
One of the Powells, I think it was.
I don't think it was one of the Powells.
How do I even Google that?
No, I was just like, I wish I had left.
Kevin Crowley, DJ says.
Yes, Kevin Crowley. That is who it was. That's what it was. So in the first, 21-ish years of those 2 leagues, it had only happened twice. And if CJ does it, it will have happened 3 times since 2021 with Jeff Teat, Brennan O'Neill, and CJ.
Yeah, I found a list of guys, but it's like in alphabetical order, so it's not like but CJ's in there. Looks like, Mick Kelly won't go high, but he's in there. I'm trying to look to see if like anyone else that got picked up tonight is in it. Levi Virch is on here.
Okay.
Casey Wilson's on here.
Levi Virch is Canadian, isn't he?
I think so.
I feel like he is too.
Yeah, he's from Victoria, British Columbia.
Okay.
So he's
I don't know why
played box his whole life. So
yeah,
he'll go pretty high probably. But yeah, I think CJ will be fine, honestly. But I mean that family is so weird just because like I should say most of them are in both leagues, but they don't always play both leagues.
DJ says, I would imagine Mariner, the guy from Ohio State, is in this draft too, which would make sense. I know so little about box that I know like next to nothing about like who's coming in. So that would make sense though. I mean, obviously he just graduated and he just got drafted in the PL. He did not get drafted in the PLL draft, but he was eligible to be drafted. So it would make sense that he would be there as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that where they didn't get picked tonight, but they've played box their whole life. So like they'll probably go play NLL and could at some point make that transition, but you know, it would be a great
who is
for somebody.
Yeah, no, I was actually getting ready to ask who's something you guys have as someone who wasn't drafted tonight that could still make a roster and make maybe some impact. Maybe not necessarily being, Ethan Rawl, but, could come in and
let's take a look.
I think Alex Mariner, however you say it, is a good one.
Mm-hmm. Man, there's a lot of guys on this list.
You know what? I also, and this is going to make me sound like a homer, but I also, and it's probably is homerish, but not because he's at Duke, but because I have watched so many Duke games and I've seen him a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Eric Molliver come in somewhere and do something. I think he's so good with the stick and controlling slides. And the only issue is he's really good ex-attackman, and I don't know that there are very many places where he could do that, though the chaos is probably going to be one.
Pretty much anyone that isn't signed,
Marinade.
Like Chaos could just take a stab at and just try.
Again, they have so many holes.
Yeah,
and they addressed none of them.
Yeah. Like, who needs one of these? Oh, let's just throw them on Chaos and see how they work.
Could Troy Ray play with a shorty? He plays. That's what he plays in box, right?
Troy Ray? Does he even play box?
I thought he did, or maybe he did.
Let's find out. If he does, there's no photos of him doing it.
He's never been seen playing it. Doesn't he play?
Is this him? Who is this? No, it's not him.
Maybe I'm thinking, does he play for the...
Yeah, all I see is Chaos and University of Albany for him.
I feel like I must be thinking of someone else. Because whoever I'm thinking of, I thought also played for the Haudenosaunee, but Troy Ray is American.
Well, is he?
According to his PLL profile, he has an American flag here. Though do they? I
was gonna say, do they put the Haudenosaunee flag up there? I
would have thought so, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen it. So I'm trying to look up.
They do.
there's so few native players in the league anymore.
Yeah,
But
Zed
okay,
has
see,
one by
Lyle,
his name.
yeah, and Lyle has it by his. So yeah, I'm clearly, apparently thinking of someone else, although I don't know who. Okay, so yeah, man, I was wondering if I'm trying to big brain the two LSM draft picks as like, could Troy Ray play like SSDM or something, and maybe that's why they went with I have no earthly idea what we're doing here.
Now they're gonna bump him to attack. Like, sorry, dude. Like, we just
I'm even
replacement and that replacement. So
that replacement.
yeah,
I mean, you even look at like, I mean, Nick Rowlett was 36.7% last year. Like, we could have gone for a face-off guy.
I was gonna say Will Coletti from Army. I wouldn't mind, but again, this is assuming that Jake Naso is not signed or taking a call. To like, he needs to be number one. You need a face-off guy. Go call Jake Naso. After that,
to be completely honest, he's not the only NLL dude that I would call before I went to.
Oh yeah,
because I'd be looking at Connor Farrell. I'd be looking at Jake Withers is not still.
He's still playing.
No, he's not still with the Water Dogs, is he?
No, he hasn't played in the PLL since like 2021 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's been out for a while. But yeah, like basically every NLL faceoff guide. Well, maybe not every single one, because there's probably some that are pretty low on the list. But most of those guys I would call before. I mean, your starting face-off guy is at less than 37%.
Yeah.
We can't do anything to address that.
I think bare minimum, Naso and Farrell, you have to call. Withers plays summer box. Trying to think of who else. Like Stathakis is on the Water Dogs already. Nardella, TD, Baptiste. So it's probably just. I mean, unless you want to go get like a guy like Tyrell Hammer Jackson.
Yeah, I was thinking about him too.
Has he ever played in? I think he did.
I don't know if he played. I think he went to camp. I want to say maybe with the Archers.
Yes, that sounds right. Yeah, he doesn't even have a picture on his profile.
But yeah, I think he went to camp. Yeah.
And I don't know what his situation is. I know he lives in Vancouver, so that's quite the travel schedule, But, I mean, give him a shot. I mean, if he wants to come play.
Does Naso live up there? Do you know?
Let's find out. I don't even know how I know that Tyrell lives there. I just do.
I just do.
Where is he from? Naso is American.
I mean, another Duke guy. I'll take it.
Yeah, he's from New York, so he very well could be in that area.
Yeah, so even if he lived in Saskatchewan during the NLL season or something, he's not going to have any trouble getting back in. Okay, because that is something obviously I think most of us have been thinking about, but also I literally just saw Connor Wilson tweet about like how many Canadians both like that are draft eligible and NLL guys that might have a chance to play in the PLL but are Canadian are going to choose to play summer box just because of like the politics that are going on and the difficulty getting across the border and stuff, and how much that will play into guys just choosing to stay on their side of the border.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that
there anyway too, so it's like,
yeah. So the fact that Naso is American and even if he lives over there, can get it over here without much trouble, should be, fine.
Because I don't know if he's Like, how old is he? He's only. Oh, he doesn't even have a bio, so I can't even.
He should be 24-ish. 24,
Yeah, it looks like he
25,
played at
maybe?
Duke in 24, so he can't be.
Yeah, I knew he came out last year. So yeah, even if he took a grad year or whatever, he'd be 24-ish. So, which I don't think he did, but even if he did, so yeah, Naso should be your first call. Connor Farrell should be your second call.
Well, it's still confusing me why Connor hasn't gotten another shot. I know there's concern about his the turnover rate thing, which I feel like was debunked on Twitter at one point in time. I don't fully remember, but it's still just one of those things that's like if you're watching him play box, you'd think you'd at least be like, we need competition. He's been in the league before. Come on down.
Well, and my thing about him, and I don't know if what you were talking about was what I posted or what, but I have posted things that was like his turnover numbers are not nearly as bad as people make them out to be, especially when you consider how bad that Chrome team was his last year in the thing, and how often you would watch him go and pick up the ground ball and the attack end would just stand there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't try and get open. They wouldn't move. And he would just get closed off.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, there are so many messages on the thing that I did not see. I don't even know. Oh, no one's commented in 20 minutes, but there were 12 that I did not see. But I don't know. I didn't really understand why he was being cut in the first place, because he was one of the better face-off guys in the league, especially at the time that he was dropped and then eventually cut. And the turnovers I didn't think were very high compared to a lot of the other guys, especially considering how bad his team was. And I do not think were the reason why they were losing games. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me that he got dropped and then cut. But then, yes, like you said, once those two things happened, nobody coming back in for him. Again, we talked earlier about the Water Dogs weren't dressing someone, specifically waiting for Stathicus to get back in, and they didn't bring him in. The Cannons had gone with their pole thing, but then when that didn't work out, when they couldn't do that last year, they could have brought him in. They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Chaos could have used a better face-off specialist. Again, if your face-off guy is at 37%, you don't need Trevor Baptiste.
Right.
If you can get to halfway to 50%, that's so many more possessions you've just created for your team.
Yeah.
So
and I know even when Rowlett was injured, I'm forgetting who they brought in towards the end of the year. But
I just had it.
They brought in someone, and I was just like, you didn't even...
James Riley.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they did try to get Farrell, but it's also one of those things that's he's better than both the guys you have on the roster. You look at Luke Weirman this year, 49.8%. It doesn't, I'm with you, it doesn't make sense why they cut him. And then the turnovers got blown out of proportion. And it was just okay, this is not a real narrative that we're going to run with. This is completely made up. So that's why, part of me does wonder if he's ever going to come back as part of just to stick it to him. Okay, if I'm not good enough to make it through even camp,
Yeah. Well, because again, like you said, you watch him in the NLL and it's more physical. It's a smaller space, all this stuff. And he doesn't have any problem with turnovers there. He's not.
I mean, just a few weeks ago, we saw him get pinned up against the boards by 2 or 3 guys and hold on to the ball. So I recognize that's one play, but to me, if I'm going to lose the ball, it's going to be that situation. So It's kind of it's fine. I know that the 32-second clock off of the face-off isn't like ideal, but as long as he wins it, who cares? Like, go take a possession shot. I mean, do whatever you have to do, but like winning less than 50% of your face-offs after you cut them is not a great look.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's, I guess, kind of what I got. You got anything else?
No, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So much to digest.
I know. I wasn't even. I was planning on being done about an hour ago. I just kept talking. So, it was fun. Ish.
Yes. Stressful, fun, all the above.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to bring my podcast back. I got a lot to talk about now.
Yeah.
I haven't done one in like 3 weeks because I just haven't felt like I had anything to say.
That's fair. I mean, you kind of hit like a dead zone, and then the draft like starts to pick up, but it's the same conversation like over and over, and everything's just about like a mock draft, and it's like, all right, like,
yeah,
you can only mock so many things.
I try not to just have my show be just like rehashing games. Like, we all watched it. We may have some slightly different opinions about it, but like, we watched them. We know what happens. And especially sometimes like I'm too busy to really watch a game. So I watch it like Monday or Tuesday, but I'm also working. So it's not like I'm like watching like super intently. And it's like, what am I really going to say about this game that provides, value that makes people want to listen to? So I really need to get a co-host. I think that would help. But anyway, I think there's stuff to talk about this time. So maybe we'll break that here on OTB first. That I'll have an episode this week.
Yes. Breaking news. Clip it.
All right, man. Good hanging out with you and everyone else. DJ, if you're still here listening, thanks for letting us steal your platform for the night. Kyle, obviously, that extends to you, but I don't think you've been listening for a while. So enjoy ESPN. That's so cool. Wish I could go. But sad I couldn't vocally help much, DJ says. Look, man, we get it. We get it. I wish we could let you in. I don't even know. Oh, I can leave studio. That's all I can do. I guess this thing's going to sit here, though. All right. Well, we'll call it there, I guess.
Cool.
See you, fellas.
See ya.